Can they keep the run going? It's going to take some doing against this brilliant Brighton side. The players are walking out of the tunnel onto the pitch. The sun has just come back out again to shine down onto the pitch here at the Amex. The away end to our right-hand side, packed full of Southampton supporters, which is great to see, despite the fact, of course, that they have already been relegated, still supporting their team to the very end. Let's take you to your commentators then. The game live online today on BBC Sounds, on your smart speaker if you ask it to play BBC Radio Solent. You can hear it on FM, DAB and both Freeview television channels 722 and 726. To guide you through the next 90 minutes, the former Saints midfielder Joe Tessam is alongside Adam Blackmore.
Jordan, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a sun-soaked Amex Stadium as we look as two South Coast clubs heading in very different directions meet for Southampton's final game of an ill-fated Premier League campaign that will see them back in the Championship after 11 years in the top flight, whilst today's opponents, Brighton, could clinch their best ever season in English football by beating Southampton today and head towards Europe at the same time. The players shake hands, and Joe Tessam is worried that this very, very good Brighton side could pick Southampton apart as James Ward-Prowse goes across straight away on his own to applaud those travelling Saints fans. Whether that's indicative of a man who wants to thank them for being on the travels with him for the last 11 years, who knows? Joe Tessam, what are your early thoughts going into this one?
Good question, Adam. Hey, I think a lot of us kind of with James Ward-Prowse when his interview after last home game, it sounded like he's not going to be here anymore. I take it as a sign of that, and it might as well be a little thank you for the support he's been getting for. But even though it's very nice of him to thank the supporters for coming in, it has been nice times for a lot of supporters to watch the football that has been produced. So a little bit of encouragement is always nice, Adam.
I think he does that anyway. I'm just creating an extra layer of intrigue, I suppose. What about the Saints team today? Not a lot of love for it from the Saints fans on the messages to me, you and Jordan in the last hour. Bree, Bednarek, Lianco, Walker-Peters in front of McCarthy, Lavia, Ward-Prowse, Walcott, Alcaraz, Aribo and Elyounoussi probably off the left, Walcott off the right, in what is effectively a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2. Aribo, Elyounoussi and Bree in. Would you have played some kids, or do you think you can't take the mick out of this good Brighton side? I'm quite glad they put a strong team on paper out. I don't think you can blood kids in a game where you might get absolutely ripped apart, but that's my own thought.
Yeah, you've got to take the Premier League serious. You've got to put out a strong team in the respect of what the league is about, Adam. And Brighton is fighting for a European place, and I think Southampton owes it to the other teams to take it seriously. And I'm glad they've done whether it would have made any difference is another case. And you can look at it this way and say that, okay, we're down. Should we let some of these players, like Elyounoussi, contract is out this summer. He's probably not going to renew his contract. Is there any point playing him and things like that? And
yeah, I agree with that.
So you can raise those questions, and I think maybe they could have put a youngster in just to make some excitement about it. Just one.
Russell Martin might like him. He might want him to have a new contract.
Well, maybe, I don't know what goes on there, and it would be interesting to. I'm not sure. I haven't spoken to Elyounoussi, so I'm not sure.
So Brighton in 6th. I was joking, but Brighton in 6th. Saints 20th, dead and buried. Brighton, a win today gives them their best ever top flight points haul, and they are playing from left to right, but it's Saints who get us underway. The Brighton side, 5 changes from the team that lost at Newcastle. Keeps having 3 games in a week, Roberto De Zerbi, so he rested some of his key players, Joe, on Thursday, knowing that was a very tough game anyway. I think he's banking on beating Southampton today to get him where he wants to be and get European football for the first time for Brighton, Joe. I think if you're weighing up the 2 matches, you probably think you're better off having them for this one, aren't you, to kill Saints off? That'll be his opinion, I think. Having rested McAllister, Ferguson, Colwill, and Enciso, he's now brought them all back in with Veltman in a 4-2-3-1. So they look pretty strong, don't they? Steele in goal, Veltman, Colwill, Duncan, Estepinian, Gross and Caicedo sitting, Enciso, McAllister and Mitoma. Behind this very impressive 18-year-old striker, Evan Ferguson, who is being entrusted with Brighton's future, that's for sure. And we will see. Certainly Enciso started on the right. Gross looks like he might be playing up higher, actually. We'll see. So, Saints have possession, trying to keep it in their sort of olive green, army green, khaki kit. It's not a very nice colour, is it, Joe, really? And they've played down the right by Saints, and it'll be dealt with by Pervis Estepinian, £15 million bargain from Villarreal, one of many Brighton bargains. And they have it out from the back. Veltman playing at right back and then doing a Man City now, Joe. You can see him drifting into midfield as the spare fullback, as it were. Now they've played it out on the right-hand side, and suddenly they're pushing forward Brighton, and Ciso into feet, gets it back from McAllister, looks to shoot, blocked, headed away by a defensively minded Elianusi, who was back on the edge of his penalty area, helping out. But Julio Enciso, an exciting 19-year-old Paraguayan, Joe. Then you've got McAllister, who's only, early 20s himself. Ferguson's 18, and Mitoma on the left. So, given you don't sell all those players, but they probably will, that you've got some players there, haven't you? So you can see the extra man they built up, Joe. They brought Veltman in alongside Caicedo when they had the ball, and that makes them a front five, doesn't it? And Ciso. And there's Veltman back at right back, and Roberto De Zerbi, you can hear clapping down in front of me. Joe.
Yeah, it is interesting to see how they have chosen to kind of copy a little bit what City does, but City is more a 4-3-3 kind of formation. It's based on that, and Brighton's is based on a 4-2-3-1 like Southampton, but sometimes it looks more like a 4-3-3, or sometimes it looks like a 4-1. 4-1 then in a way. So it is. They differ in position, but they cover space a lot better than we do.
Now Saints trying to play out from the back here. Ward-Prowse goes back to Alex McCarthy. You could have brought Bazunu back in for the last couple of games, Joe, really, couldn't you? A couple of young player. McCarthy doesn't need to prove anything, does he? I think they could keep them both. That's two good goalkeepers for the Championship. Here's McAllister. What a great season he's had, now being courted by Liverpool, we think, of course, and the ball's played into Ferguson. Saints scrapping right on the edge of their penalty area, but they're already quite deep, and eventually Pascal Gross can't keep the ball in, and it goes out for a Southampton throw. But Joe, where do you find the motivation from when you're a player in this situation, coming to Brighton on a hiding to nothing, relegated, future uncertain, manager leaving? Where's the motivation come from? How do players find this?
It's in your pride, Adam. It's in your pride, Adam, for what you are as a player and what you represent in the club.
So it has to come from you first, doesn't it, for yourself?
Yeah, of course, and the pride for what you do and your workmanship as a professional football player.
Kyle Walker-Peters heads it over halfway into the centre circle. Suddenly James Ward-Prowse, 2 goals here last season, looks up and finds Walker-Peters again. Saints are in the Brighton half. Central position, Alcaraz, 30 yards inside the half. Sweeps it out to that right-hand side to James Bree. Slides it down the side for Walcott. Walcott out there battling away. And the ball slipped into Aribo. This is nice from Saints. He's passed a little short for Alcaraz, and he was tackled as he got it. And in the end, Mitoma can't get past Saints, who are battling, and the ball was with Lavia. Now Lianco almost caught in possession by Ferguson, just about got the ball away, and then Elianusi has it, slips it cleverly to Alcaraz, gets it back, drifts towards the middle of the park near the centre circle, and again finds some space to play. James Bree out there. Lavia's gone with a nice new afro haircut. You seen that, Joe? Looks like a completely different player from the distance, doesn't he?
I saw you struggle with Matoma on the side.
I was thinking, who's that? Right. 0-0, everybody. 5 minutes gone at the Amex on BBC Radio Solent. Saints trying to keep the ball, take the sting out of Brighton. Wind picks up as McCarthy clears, makes it just over halfway. Lewis Dunk screams. And Veltman screams for the throw and gets it off the shoulder of Elianusi. And Roberto De Zerbi, former Shakhtar Donetsk and Sassuolo manager, of course, gives it in. And Veltman, returning from injury, playing at right back this afternoon, carries on and gets it back and is tagged by Elianusi. Another free kick, just right in front of Ruben Sellers, who is down in front of us. We literally have the perfect view here just another 2 yards higher, it would be perfect. It's almost perfect. Ball in towards Ferguson. Good tackle from Lianco. I thought he was clipped by the Irishman. Not given. Brighton win it back. Play it out to Julio Enciso. The teenager looks up. Low ball into the 6-yard area. And McCarthy calls and Lianco leaves it. And it's gathered up. And I think Lianco was caught there as he got the ball away from the Brighton player. Referee gave him nothing, but he's limping as he tries to recover from that. Alex McCarthy, 34 years of age, back in the team, of course, the last few games. A little bit of grey around the sides now, on the hair. And I was going to say a la Philip Schofield, but that's not probably a bit too topical for anybody, isn't it? He's having a better week than Philip Schofield, that's for sure. 0-0. And ball given away then by Bednarek. Luckily won it back inside his own half. Still, McAllister will chase it as McCarthy will clear it. Right-footed, high up to halfway. Walcott misses it in the air. Estepinian chests it down and plays it back in the end to Lewis Colwell. By the way, what a good signing on loan from Chelsea Colwell has been, alongside Dunk all season. Another bit of inspired business. Easy loan spell, yeah?
Yeah, they've been
very well.
Recruiting in Brighton. It's been absolutely fantastic. And
but you think of all these young players Saints took from big clubs like Chelsea, like Livramento and stuff. You think they missed Colwell, didn't they?
Yeah,
they did. Excellent. Long ball forward. That's from Duncan. It was almost perfect. McAllister made the late run, and then Mitoma reacts before Ward-Prowse gets it on his right foot, wide. McCarthy was diving, he was almost stranded, but Mitoma couldn't turn it inside the post. He just wanted it more, didn't he, and reacted quicker. We get a big replay down to our left here, Joe, for us to see, but he certainly beat Ward-Prowse to it. A little shimmy into the box, and probably from a central position should have scored, or at least made McCarthy safe, but he's put it wide.
Yeah, and there you see it. It's a long ball up to Ferguson, and they pick up the second ball, and that's what Mitoma does. He does it so well as well, and then his pace keeps him on the ball, and should have scored at him. He should really have scored inside the 18-yard line in the middle of the goal. It's just a matter of hitting the target. He did everything right with his inside of his foot, except for hitting the target.
Yep. Brighton expecting to win today. Lost their last home game, you remember, though, 5-1 against Everton. Before that, though, they had beaten Manchester United, got revenge for the FA Cup semi-defeat, and they beat Wolves 6-0 here. That's the sort of result you've got to worry about by playing kids today if you're Southampton. But Wolves beaten 6-0, and since that FA Cup semi-final heartache on penalties, Brighton have won 3 and lost 3, so they haven't responded too badly in the Premier League, because those big semi-finals like that can take it out of you as they win a throw on the far side, deep in Saints territory. Saints fans stacked up away to my right, doing their best to get behind their side. Great turnout from them today in the circumstances. And Brighton starting the day, remember, 8 points behind Liverpool, who've only got 1 game left, but Brighton have to win all 3, and they've got Man City here on Thursday, then away at Villa on the final day. Villa, of course, level on points with them going into today's game after their point at Liverpool yesterday. But Liverpool probably out of sight. But if Brighton finish 6th with a win here, that's a great season, Joe Tesson, for Brighton, isn't it? Top 6.
Oh,
win the bet on that, wouldn't we, in August?
Oh, absolutely. Well, they deserve the football they played. It's been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, but also they deserve it because of how they responded to losing Graham Potter. We all thought that might be the start of the end for them, but they've got better under De Zerbi, who, as someone said to me in the week, Ruben Selles said, has stamped his personality on Brighton. They're more aggressive than they were under Potter. They're more in De Zerbi's image. 0-0, 10th minute. Wind picking up, cool now, as it's grabbed by Pascal Gross. Gross has instinct so wide to the right. Walker-Peters does block it, and it goes out for a Brighton throw near the corner flag on this near side, with the Seagulls attacking the goal away to our right, where those Saints fans are sat here at the Amex Stadium. Such a well-designed stadium, great noise. All the corners filled in, of course. Nice design, clever design after they spent years trying to get planning permission. Remember, Tony Bloom, the owner's done a remarkable job. Out it goes to the far side from Colwell, that loanee we're talking about. Driving down the left is Mitoma. No corner, no foul. It's a goal kick, Southampton. It's 0-0. Saints, of course, only 6 wins away, but 4 of them, 6 wins all season, but 4 of them on their travels. 2 coaches having a word with Moye Alianusa. So lots of discussions going on. Russell Martin will be watching this from somewhere. That's for sure. So Brighton all set up. Beat Saints here on Boxing Day, looking for a league double over them. But remember, none of the 11 meetings in the Premier League between these two, since Brighton got promoted, have finished with a home win. Not one. And Saints trying to continue that trend as they drive down the left-hand side, down below us. Walker-Peters cutting in 30 yards from goal, squares it just in front of the D. Short ball to Alcaraz. Pressed by Caicedo, goes out to his right. Here's Bree with the cross, hangs it up, just misses Alcaraz and continue to make a run. And Brighton get it clear. Header. 2 headers. Suddenly they're springing on the counter-attack. Ferguson's trying to make an angled run, and Ciso gets it because Lianco just decided not to dive in. Corner of the penalty area. McAllister inside him. Past him is Caicedo. Long distance shot, no pace on it. Straight at McCarthy into his gut. 0-0. Shot on target for Brighton. Game quite bright in the 12th minute, opening up a little bit. But Saints looking more vulnerable when they go and attack themselves, Joe. We've said that a lot of times. Yeah, we have, and the reason why we look vulnerable today is because it doesn't look like we're playing with a striker up front there. We are all pinned back. What Brighton does well, they just, when they get up on the pitch, they have every player in our half. And they manage to win the ball back and pick up the second balls and position themselves in positions where the second ball is going to fall down. So they're playing in a positive frame of mind and in the kind of knowing what's going to happen next and where the ball's going to land. West Ham 1, Leeds 1 is the latest score from the 1:30 kickoff. Massive game for Leeds, who took the lead in that game through Rodrigo. Declan Rice has equalised for West Ham. Remember, at 4:30 it's Manchester City against Chelsea. Hopefully they can celebrate their Premier League by smashing Chelsea as well, which will make us all smile as we drive home listening to that commentary on Radio 5 Live. Here on BBC Radio Solent, it is 0-0 in the 13th minute. And Brighton having possession at will, just inside their own half. Then Dunk finds Enciso again. Run made from Gross in front of him, but it was well read by Lianco, who got back and tied it up well and got it back to McCarthy, who clears. Aribo will chase, and he's just trying to put some pressure on Colwill, and the Chelsea youngster gets it back to Jason Steele, who's had quite some resurrection himself, really. Robert Sanchez, of course, the first choice keeper for a lot of the time for Brighton, injured, out of it. Steele's been part of a very successful period for the club. 32-year-old, former Middlesbrough and Blackburn man. There's a strong tackle. Jan Bednarek deciding that Alexis McAllister is going down whatever happens, and he's basically laid him out in the middle of the park. McAllister's slow to get up. Bednarek's got his yellow card, but to be honest with you, I mean, that's what defenders are supposed to do. But he has, Joe, as you can see, gone in quite strong on him. And McAllister, thankfully for Brighton, I think he's up and should be okay, but he certainly left his mark on him. Yeah, he gets a pass and Bednarek comes out to the... Alexis just nutmegs Bednarek and he takes him out. To be fair, it is a pretty close one, but I think Bednarek, when he knows the ball goes through his legs, he just takes him out. He's gone off his feet, Joe. He's got no chance of not getting a yellow card. He's gone straight through him. 14 minutes, 15 approaching, 0-0. Gesticulations on the touchline. Free kick for Brighton is quite central. And now they play it cleverly. Little short one. McAllister squares it. That's slowed it down. Caicedo, unbelievably, he's still only 21. No wonder Arsenal would have to pay a lot of money for him. And then Enciso gets tackled by Walker-Peters and comes off the Paraguayan last. And it's out. And there's the Saints fans making a good noise. Good on them. They're not letting the situation of relegation dampen their afternoon. And really, we had a good fun on the way here, didn't we, Joe? On the A27 fans blasting their horns, giving it some as they saw the Solent car, waving and smiling. You've got to make the most of a bad situation, haven't you, at the end of the day? Yep. As we stop for another injury, this time to James Ward-Prowse, who's feeling his ankle. Well, we can say chat with him. You mentioned this a little bit earlier in the game, and to explain how Brighton is trying to play against us. They're trying to put the fullbacks a little bit central, a little bit like Man City used to do, but then open the space up for Mitoma and Ciso here on the side where we are sitting, and so they can bypass midfield straight up to them, and then they can take them on and start from there. That's what they are trying to do when they are playing football here, Adam. I'd love to have, Joe, a camera or a microphone when they do these huddles where a coach comes out with an iPad and then they start looking like Saints are now. What's he showing them on there? Oh yeah, look, you didn't do. I often wonder what they get achieved. You think they're so detailed in their planning, modern football coaches and everything. It's interesting, isn't it? They start looking at things and saying, look, do that and then do that. And I know they all adjust as the game goes on. But it's an interesting development in the game,
sometimes as players, and this is what I'm...
Ruben Sellers now down there with an iPad with Alcaraz.
Yeah, the thing for me is, and this shows when I like it when players on the pitch makes decisions when something isn't right, and what you can do is say to Elunisi, make them play inside you, not play on the outside. Don't give them the space on the outside, but that has to come inside the group as well. Someone needs to take charge of that.
And the good thing for Alcaraz is, of course, Ruben Sellers is fairly fluent in Spanish, and now Alcaraz gets the ball and he just can't control it, but he gets it back because the Brighton player falls, and there's a break on here. Walcott racing towards the penalty area, one to his left, one to his right. Alcaraz to his right, and he's put it wide, and he puts his hands on his face and puts his shirt over his face to hide his embarrassment. That was a massive opportunity for Southampton in the 17th minute here. Suddenly a loose play by Dunk set Saints on their way, and Alcaraz, having passed the ball to Walcott, did exactly the right thing. He got the perfect ball back and he spooned the shot right-footed off the instep, and it's a goal kick to Brighton, and that chance has gone. And how many will Saints get?
Yeah, but that was a good counter-attack. I mean, we picked the ball up because Dunk had a bad touch inside our kind of 10-15 yards inside our half. Bad touch, picked up Alcaraz, played it beautifully to Walcott, who drove in and dragged all the Brighton 2-3 defenders with him, and Alcaraz should have scored. But that opportunity is here today because Brighton is so high on the pitch.
Well, and they are leaving two back, like you said. The fullbacks are going, and they're leaving themselves a bit open if the Saints do. But they're doing it because they're not expecting Saints to actually get the ball, are they? That's why they do it. Then when it goes wrong, that's your chance.
Yeah, and if you remember back to the Everton game, they counter-attacked in 5 goals that day because Brighton lost it. They were so open in the back, and I think that is on all the time because you commit so many players going forward. When you lose it in crucial situations like they did now, we have an opportunity to counter-attack, and
it's a really good point.
And Alcaraz should have scored.
Really good point. 18 minutes gone. Pascal Gross drifts a free kick in from this right-hand side, goes over everyone. No one cleared it, though. It's drilled in by Estepinian. Flag was up in the end for offside. Danger over. Well, whatever happened with that iPad talking to Alcaraz, he needed 30 seconds later, after looking at the iPad, he had the shot on goal.
Yeah, fantastic tactic, hey?
Some managers showed him a picture of this beautiful young woman and said, I've got a date for you with her if you score in the next 1 minute. That's what happened.
No comment.
I'm just trying to cheer everyone up. It's been a long, hard season. What can I say? 19th minute. 0-0. Saints have made a start. Yeah, so 2-2 here last season. Saints were 2-0 down. James Ward-Prowse scored a brace, including a terrific free kick. I haven't done one of them for a while, Joe. And I literally am now worried that I came today in a t-shirt, because when we left Southampton, it was hot, bright, sunny day. The forecast was good, and now I can feel a little bit of water flicking in from the edge of the stadium. I think it might be raining. Anyway, that's my problem. NC so on halfway. Joe and Jordan were far wiser. Got at least 2 layers with them. Smarty pants there.
Experience, it's called, Adam.
Yeah, I'm older than both of you, and I still managed to turn up in a t-shirt. Experience didn't count for much, did it? Oh dear. Phil, I always like to think I've got a layer of fat that'll keep me warm. Lewis Dunk, edge of the centre circle, tries to play it forward quickly, intercepted by Romeo Lavia, who stood in front of Ferguson, knowing that's where Dunk wanted to play it. And then James Bree has it on the right-hand side. Tricky job for him today. But the Premier League's like that every week. If it's not Mitoma, it's Rashford. If it's not Rashford, it's, who else is going to give... Someone's going to give you a hard time if you're a fullback, aren't they? So, Lianco bringing it out past the first line of the press. Did well. Walker-Peters up to halfway. Drifts inside and Enciso plays a clever ball looking for Joe Aribo's run. Aribo uses his strength, holds off Levi Colwill. Gets it back to Walker-Peters. Southampton has settled into the game now. Here comes Romeo Lavia. The Belgian plays it to James Bree. Back to Jan Bednarek, who's the last man and has now got to be careful with the yellow card. He can't get caught on the ball. And they try and play out to McCarthy to Lavia, who just got it away from Gross, Joe, because Gross knew that was coming and he read that. And again, Lavia just did enough. You're going to see a lot more of this under Russell Martin. I know that much. He's playing out from the back, taking a risk. And Walker-Peters plays it down the left. The Saints fans are olaying at 0-0. They're loving this possession. Walker-Peters, maybe the Russell Martin's got in the dressing room. Oh, there's a slip. This is a problem. Dinked over McCarthy. Oh, my goodness me. Oh, my goodness me. I'm smiling. The ball is in the hands of Alex McCarthy. Saints playing it around at the back, got caught. All Mitoma's got to do, he could be on a hat-trick by now, he's chip it past McCarthy, and he does, and he chips it onto the post, and it bounces back into McCarthy's arms. After a loose ball, gave it to Mitoma. He's 6 yards out. He's dinked it over McCarthy, hit the post, and McCarthy said, I'll have that rebound, thank you very much. Mitoma should have 2, Brighton should have 2. Saints were caught with their pants down, but it's 0-0.
Yeah, and then good possession. I was just about to say good possession, making the Brighton players run, but if you slip like Bednarek did, then you're going to cause yourself problems on the edge of the 18-yard box, and he did, and Mitoma read it straight away, and we rolled one there. We were a little bit unlucky, and then a little bit luck afterwards.
He's not had the easiest first quarter of the game, Jan Bednarek, has he? The Saints come forward again, trying to counter-attack on Brighton. Ball from Alcaraz, he's poor though. Didn't find Ward-Prowse, and now it's Brighton who can break, and McAllister brushes past Lavia. Lavia gets back goal side, but he's approaching the Saints penalty area. He's got Mitoma to his left. Mitoma's got McAllister going on the outside for him, but he squares it back inside to Enciso. Enciso shoots, blocked by Bednarek, and the block comes all the way out to Moy Elianusi, who suddenly can dart down the left wing, and he's got a man over if he finds him, and he's looking for Theo Walcott, and he does find him. The blue and white shirts flood back. Walcott almost level with the edge of the Brighton penalty area, out on the right wing. Now working in a triangle with Bree and Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse gets it back. Brighton are back and organised behind the ball.
Yeah, and this is where you want Elianusi to take Dunk on. He got to take him on. This is what wingers will do. Mitoma would have taken him on, and that's the difference there. He gets the ball in very good position, turns and runs it, and Dunk just comes over, and then he stops and kind of goes back and swaps it over to Theo Walcott on the right side. But the one thing you got to do in Premier League football, one-on-one, you got to beat your opponent, and
at least
and
make a decision.
And that was set up to beat Dunk. I really think so. That is when you use your pace and you take him out. If you're not successful, at least you tried, and you should have done.
And the crossfield ball was slightly behind Walcott. It didn't have enough weight on it, so Walcott couldn't take it in his stride and attack the penalty area. And by the time he gathered it, 6 blue and white shirts had rushed back. Chance gone. 0-0 though. 24th minute.
Yeah,
doing their best.
It should have been more than 0-0 here.
Absolutely. McAllister picks it up once more, tries to slide it into Ferguson. Well dealt with by Bednarek. Lavia picks up the loose ball midway inside his own half, central position. Pushes out to Elianusi on his left-hand side. Tackled by Joel Veltman. Just gave him a new name. Carl Walker-Peters trying to work away from his own penalty area. Gives it to his captain. Then Bednarek back to McCarthy. He wants an option. They're really trying to play out from the back, aren't they? I'm trying to work out if they've been instructed to do this today because of the new manager impending, Joe, because they haven't played like this all the time before. It's interesting, isn't it? They are doing it more than ever. Do you think Rasmussen's had a quick chat in the dressing room and said, come on, lads, I want to see this Russell Martin football?
Well, we have
show him what you can do.
Well, we have been a football side in terms of playing, especially in the middle third of the pitch. We haven't been bad at that, but we play too much sideways.
Yeah, now, good ball from Walcott. It's read by Caicedo. Gets it off Ward-Prowse. And they have it back here. To Brighton, middle of the park, and then great tackle from Ward-Prowse. He thought didn't give a free kick away. Referee disagreed.
You got to be
25 minutes 0-0.
You got to be good at keeping the ball at him, and in every part of the pitch, you know. We have been decent in the middle third of the pitch, and today we are playing in the first third of the pitch as well. And that's because Brighton is pressing us, but we are brave enough to play. And you got to be that in the Premier League if you want to be a side. And obviously we're not there next year, but you know what I mean.
25 minutes gone. Another free kick for Brighton, central again, so not easy to work an angle, so they work it out to the left, and Estepinian will hang it in. Free header in the end, come back out on the left-hand side, and it goes out for a goal kick. But a couple of times now where Brighton have had chances. Mitoma again trying to latch onto that one. He could be on a hat-trick. He's in my fantasy team, so he's letting all of us down who've had him in there since Christmas. But I'd rather Saints win the game, to be honest. 26th minute, 0-0. And actually, Southampton have not given a bad account of themselves, Joe, I think, so far. And again, they're playing out from Alex McCarthy. This is definitely a change of a tactic, Joe, because this has not happened in every game we've watched in the last 2 months. Now, Alcaraz has done brilliant. Spun around on halfway, tries to slide the perfect ball through then for Walcott. Oh, and he's just about been skipped away, and thank goodness he did, by Estepinian. He plays it out left to Mitoma. Brighton got bodies forward again on the overlap from Mitoma. Is McAllister back inside? Look for a turn and a shot here from Enciso. He's pushed wide. Gross hangs it to the back post and McCarthy catches it. Danger over. Bright football at both ends. Saints trying to break, but Alcaraz's pass was poor, and it gave Brighton the chance to counter back, and we've got an open game here. 0-0. Could be 2-1. Could be any score, Joe.
Yeah, and it was the wrong choice. Good cross by McAllister, but I think the wrong player picked up the ball. It was ready to be put in, wasn't it? Or had a shot on the... And Sisso kind of stole the ball, didn't he? And he shouldn't have done it.
So, Brighton have it at the back again. Second half, we'll get a better look at James Bree. We can have a look at him closer. As Enciso grabs it once more, Brighton have shifted it out to the right. He's in the box, twisting and turning with Walker-Peters. Tries to cross, deflects, goes up in the air. Lianco heads it away. Veltman heads it back. No flag. Pascal Gross has it, dinks it towards the back post. Dug it out. Couldn't find a man in a blue and white shirt, and Walcott will clear. And Joe Rebo's trying to cover a lot of ground to get across there and pressure Levi Colwill. And he does, and then Colwill's ball forward actually falls for Bree. He finds Ward-Prowse. Bree has it again, midway inside his own half, and goes back to Alex McCarthy. Saints taking Brighton on here, toe-to-toe with the possession football inside their own box. Walker-Peters to Lavia. The players look like they're enjoying themselves. Maybe this is what happens, Joe, when you don't get the pressure of relegation hanging on your shoulders, because it's gone. Portini gives Saints a free kick.
Well, we've got to play possession in our own half because we haven't got anyone on the other half, Adam. So sometimes we're limited. It's a bit hard to work on. It's kind of like Alcaraz and Joe Rebo plays up front with Elenise and Theo Walcott on the other side. But when we are out of possession, it looks like everyone's coming on, and it's a bit hard to see where Joe Rebo is playing. I think he's playing up front there,
I think he is. I said to you, I think he's playing up front, as Enciso has it. And they give it away. Brighton in the middle of the Saints half. You can hear from the groans. Ward-Prowse has it. And the ball eventually played all the way back to Bednarek, who's in his own penalty area. He goes back to McCarthy. Still Brighton chase the ball down. McCarthy left-footed, clears up to halfway. Veltman shrugs off Elianusi, heads it infield. Now it might be met by Caicedo. Gets it to McAllister, can turn and look up 25 yards out. Ferguson inside the box. Now a low shot, and it goes under and through Alex McCarthy. And Evan Ferguson, the 18-year-old, has blasted Brighton into the lead. It's going to go down as a goalkeeping mistake from McCarthy, but he absolutely lashed it from inside the box like an arrow straight under McCarthy, who couldn't squeeze it out as he fell on it, and it went under him and through into the net. It's Brighton 1, Saints 0. Evan Ferguson, the 18-year-old Irish sensation, has his 5th Premier League goal of the season.
Lip it easy. We lose the ball in midfield, and it is kind of Lavia is not strong enough against Caicedo, I think it is in there. And they play it to Alexis McCarthy, and he just turns, plays it out to Ferguson, just has a ping, he just pings it, and it goes through Lianco's legs and under McCarthy, and a little bit difficult to know whether you can blame because it comes so fast through Lianco's legs from a short distance. But it's just a ping in the middle of the goal, and I agree. I think the keeper should do better, Adam.
Either way, it's 1-0 to Brighton, and that's taken the pressure off the home side on the verge of their best ever season in English football. And the home fans know it, and they've had a great season. Ferguson's goal goes down as a 29th minute strike, but Alex McCarthy will not want to see that again. it was hit. I'm trying to be kind to McCarthy, Joe, because it was hit so hard and true and straight under him that to drop on the ball sometimes is the hardest thing to do as a goalkeeper, compared to the ball wide of you, which you can dive on.
And he hit the ground just as he dived down for it, and it was a ping. I have to say that. My most disappointing thing is that Lavia Casado got away with that in the second ball and got away from Lavia. Not by much, but not just enough to be in control of the ball and then play it to Alexis McCarthy, and that's where the situation starts.
I'm loving the fact that we're going to add Alexis McCarthy to your Jason Mount collection. Because you've said Alexis McCarthy 3 times now.
I know.
So I like that. He is a McAllister. He did put it under McCarthy, so I'm quite enjoying that, Joe. I can keep that.
You've got to stop me, Adam.
No, I don't want to stop you. It's too much fun. 32nd minute. Saints trail. BBC Radio, so that's the voice of former Southampton forward. Do you like being called a forward? I don't want to call you a utility player. Do you like forward more than anything? Attacking midfielder?
It doesn't matter.
Southampton and Norway, as Walcott goes through into the box, a great play from him, and he tried on the run from an angle to hit it with the outside of his right foot and bend it inside the far post, but couldn't get the control on the shot that he wanted, and in the end it went well wide. But Southampton have been spiky. I like the way they've tried to come back from going a goal down, but he should have, if he had a left foot, he should have hit it with that, but he didn't.
No, he tried the outside, but this is where we get space though. We get a little bit of space because Brighton is committing so many players forward, and that's what we got to take advantage of. But the problem we have is that they are long in between before we get those chances, Adam, because we're playing so deep and we're not playing with a kind of a striker. We're not playing with a striker, and that's the problem.
Well, we are, but I think they're not strikers. So in other words,
no, yeah, but he got to keep himself in between the 2 centre-halves, and you can see Duncan and the other centre-half, they're just passing the ball without any pressure on them.
Him and Alcaraz are trying to do that, Joe, and they're just young men who are running around trying to impress, aren't they? But you're right, sometimes it's about not running around, as Walker-Peters did brilliant, and then Alcaraz with a naughty little afters, I think, on Enciso. He's complaining to the linesman that Enciso's making the most of it. The Argentinian will definitely have no problem conversing with the Paraguayan, Joe. Paul Tini's going to have a look at this. Has he got a card out here for Carlos Alcaraz? He has, and Alcaraz can't believe it. And Walker-Peters had got the ball and done brilliantly with a tackle. But we'll see. We'll get a replay now at home to see what Alcaraz did. Oh, did he might have just let his elbow stay up straight into Enciso's face. Let's have a look. We'll get another look here. No, I'm not sure if it was his elbow in the end or just his hand. Trying to get the right angle here, like I think VAR probably wants to do. Maybe a shoulder. How do you see that, Joe?
I don't think it is a free kick either. I think it's just he comes in to stop him because they're running into 2 different directions, and Alcaraz goes in and blocks him from getting it away. And
maybe Argentinians don't like Paraguayans.
Maybe, but I don't.
He certainly left his shoulder in there, didn't he, to bunt him or got off him.
The thing I would like to say in it is that they wouldn't have impacted any on the course of what happened next, because the situation was kind of gone.
I know, and in fact, Walker-Peters have done well now. Brighton played into McAllister, left-hand corner of the penalty area, low ball in towards Ferguson. Great block by Lianco. Ferguson's down, he's put his hand up, I think, asking for some help. Lianco's down, Lavia's down. It's like a war field out there. And I just saw Roberto De Zerbi jumping up and down, furious. And to us, it looked like Brighton were just passing the ball along the back 4, but he obviously saw an opportunity that they didn't spot from the pitch to put the ball in a certain area. It's always funny when that happens. The game looks to be in a fairly easy moment.
This is a little bit of a tricky one because it hits Lianco's arm, but it goes down for a tackle.
Well, you better explain to the listeners who can't see the pictures on your replay. What have you just seen that I didn't see?
Yeah, so the ball is played into Alexis McAllister, just to get it right.
McAllister, yeah.
Yeah, he's finding those spots in between the 2 holding players and the back 4. He turns, then plays it outside, and it crosses in. Ferguson goes in to put his side foot onto the ball, misses the ball. Lianco's gone down to his kind of left side to tackle that shot from Ferguson. he misses the ball, and as Lianco goes down, he hits his arm that he's gone down to protect him from landing on the ground.
So he's not gone hand to ball. The ball's gone to his hand. Yeah?
The ball has gone to his hand, but he has hit his hand inside the box.
Yeah.
And that is always a worry when you play in the today's rules, Adam.
Yeah. Big screen here showing the Brighton owner, Tony Bloom. No doubt a happy man after all the money he's ploughed into this club, but also the club he loves and all the pleasure he's getting from watching them play. I'm sure is as important to him as the money which he'd already made, of course, in life. Evan Ferguson is back up and okay. Lavia is okay. The man coming off worst from the collision is Lianco, who's gingerly walking towards the sidelines like Evan Ferguson, the goal scorer today. But like I said, you think of the players that have left Brighton the last year, Trossard, Cucurella and Mopé, and then they signed João Pedro from Watford earlier this month, Joe. Got in early, signed him, 21-year-old Brazilian forward, so another young talent coming to Brighton who's got experience in the Premier League and the Championship. They're without Jakob Mulder, Lallana, Webster, Lamptey, March, Sarmiento and Sanchez today. And they still look like an absolutely brilliantly well-oiled machine, and they've got players, good players in the right positions. Round pegs in round holes, as Dave would say. Lianco's jogging back round. Him and Ferguson both trying to come back on, and really, rather than wait for a passage of play, just let them back on the pitch together. And they do. And Brighton have it with them. They have the 1-goal lead. Just under 9 minutes to half-time. And there's Caicedo, Moises Caicedo. Out it comes now to Julio Enciso. Evan Ferguson's touch is a bit heavy, but him and Lianco together again. Lianco shepherds it out of play for a throw to Saints, but they're right down on this near side near me to my right by the corner flag. They're going to have to work their way out of here, Southampton, with this throw in front of their own fans. Trailing by that goal from Ferguson. Let's be honest, Mitoma should have scored 2 before Ferguson scored, but Saints have had 2 or 3 bright opportunities themselves.
Yeah, good opportunities, good turnovers and quick turnovers, which we have kind of been missing a little bit in the other games, when you got a chance to do it quickly.
Now Ward-Prowse can't keep the ball, and then Brighton play around him, and this all came from Lianco's high, long clearance from his own goal line, but Brighton took control of the ball again, and they have it, and all the Saints players are back in their own half. BBC Radio Solent, Brighton 1, Southampton 0, the last away Premier League game of the season. And if you join us for the away games only because you go to the home matches and don't listen with your earpiece, then thank you very much for listening to our away coverage this season. From myself and Joe's, loved his first season, I think. And,
you're waiting for a response.
We've had some fun on our travels, and I hope you've enjoyed it at home. And certainly we've had a great response to having Joe on the team. So thank you, Saints fans, from us. Free kick Southampton inside their own half as we get closer to half time. We've had some fun, haven't we? We can't share with the listeners some of the fun we've had chatting in the car on the way up and back to
what happens in the car stays in the car.
That's the way it should be. We're approaching half time. Not far now, just over 5 minutes. Saints still in this. Next goal's massive, of course. We always worry, this Southampton team go 2 down, whether they've got the gumption to get back into it.
We have opportunities, Adam. We have had a couple good opportunities.
Yeah. Now, they're giving the ball away again, and this time Lavia falls over, doesn't get a free kick. Mitoma's down the left. That's a great ball. Evan Ferguson, 2-0. 8 yards out. Saints players surround referee Paul Tierney. They're not happy. They thought there was a foul earlier in the move. Paul Tierney's put his hand to his ear. He's heard something. Maybe VAR is going to check something, whether it's an offside or whether it was how Lavia didn't get the ball. But Mitoma, who could have scored, finally has played his part in a goal. The ball from Mitoma as Lavia fell over. I don't think Mitoma did anything wrong looking at it, and then his cross with the outside of his right foot is an absolute joy. And all Ferguson's got to do is slot it past McCarthy from 10 yards out. 2-0, great counter. Great goal, but the pass from Mitoma was a joy. Yeah,
it's going to be a goal. It's a bad pass from Alcaraz out to Lavia, which goes too far, and Lavia tries to make up for it. Mitoma is quick and It looks at some point that Lavia is in control, but it just falls over too easily. Adam, he needs to be stronger. That's a little bit disappointing for me from Lavia, because he is quick and he is strong, so he should be standing on his feet. But then the rest is up to Mitoma. He just drives forward with pace, and that pass in the end to Ferguson there is unbelievable. It's just so cool, so collective, and Ferguson just have to slot it in, and that is a very good counter-attack, Adam.
Well, we're still waiting, aren't we, as James Ward-Prowse argues with Paul Tierney. But I think the goal is going to stand for sure. It's whether Lavia was fouled. He put his arm across Mitoma, and I just wonder if Mitoma's right arm did drag Lavia down a bit, Joe.
He did drag him down.
Different angle, looks a bit better for him, but the VAR has decided they can't change that. And Brighton, with that second goal, have given themselves that comfort blanket for the rest of the game now. They can keep the ball, they don't need to press Saints. They can save energy if they want a bit for Man City on Thursday here. But really, they know if they get the job done today, the last 2 games of the season are a bonus for them, because they're going to be uncatchable in 6th place if they win this here.
Yeah, and I see that he is pulling a little bit on Lavia, but I think Lavia needs to be stronger. I think he falls over way too easy.
Yeah, I think so as well. But either way, Saints are up against it, and we knew they would be. We were just hoping that maybe we would get past half-time with the game still in the balance at the moment. Brighton are 5 points behind Liverpool with this 2-0 lead. 3 points above Villa, 4 above Spurs, who can't catch them if they win this. And Villa's goal difference is 15 worse. And Brighton have, of course, unless Brighton lose 10-0 to Man City and then go to Villa on the final day, then their 6th place is guaranteed today, and they could catch Liverpool if they win both their last 2 games and Liverpool lose. They could actually end up in 5th, but you know, there we go. Saints trying to get back into it. Aribo and Alcaraz just not able to hold the ball up and be a fulcrum or a pivot, or to actually give Saints some control in the Brighton's final.
No, and when Joe Aribo pulls out of a challenge with Dunkasol, then you know you're in trouble. But
right, you've just seen is Elianusi. Oh, what is he diving around? Okay, everybody. Elianusi fouls Enciso, who after he goes to the floor starts bouncing around like someone's just done the old cardiac restart on. He's got the stand clear, boom, and he's just gone flying around the floor. He's like a jumping Jack Flash. Suddenly he's gone down screaming, then he rolls, then he gets back up, then he drops down again. Triple pike, double Salco. I'll give him 8.9 for artistic impression.
Yeah, that is a little bit too much as well.
Mate,
and no treatment afterwards as well. That is embarrassing, and for me that wasn't even a yellow card. That was a cheap yellow card. It was a free kick, but a yellow card should give players who does those things afterwards a yellow card as well for overplaying the injury. It's embarrassing.
Well, Elianusi in the book, Alcaraz in the book, Bednarek in the book. Saints in a hole, 2-0 down. Lianco tries to clear under pressure from Enciso. Didn't fell over, but he didn't scream like Enciso. Roll, jump up and down, do the fish on the floor, and then roll around. That was actually very entertaining. I wish I had a little video of that stick on social media. How Enciso, it was almost like he was possessed. Like there he was lying on the floor, and suddenly his body convulsed up into the air again, all of its own free will, Joe. It's like he's possessed.
And he hardly got kicked as well.
I know. It was a great bit of drama. Julio Enciso.
You can say that we saw this situation.
Anyway, good cross from the right from Brighton. Half clearance from Lavia. Alcaraz gets a head on it away from the box. Walcott helps it on further. It's actually a really nice play between the two. Little couple of 1-2s there, but then in steps Levi Colwill and gets it back for Brighton, leaves it for Enciso, drills it out to Mitoma. Suddenly Estepinian's made a run forward ahead of him. Mitoma's wide on the left, midway inside the Saints half. Brighton have it, 2-0 lead into the final minute of normal time. 81333 is the text number. Put Solent as the first word. Tweet us at Solent Sport. You can WhatsApp Jordan 08000 321 333, but please put Solent as your first word like the text, so you don't waste your energy and your time. 5 minutes of stoppage time. That WhatsApp, save it in your phone as your contacts are Solent Sport, 08000 321 333, and put Solent as a first word as the ball is drilled from Dunk, looking for McAllister, who didn't quite get there, and he clashed with James Bree, and they sort of tap hands, and McAllister says sorry.
But you can also go back to the situation with which hardly was a free kick here on Enciso, and then you got Lavio. He got pulled, so you can go, why did you let that one go and not this one? And sometimes you want to.
Well, it's because Enciso screamed and made it worse than it was.
So did Lavio. He was kind of putting his arms up, but he didn't do the fish.
I think that was desperation from Lavio, wasn't it? Because he knew they were in trouble when he didn't get it.
No, I think so too, and I don't think that was a free kick.
I'd rather him have been stronger and not let Mitoma knock him over, because he could have stayed in Mitoma's way. He should have stayed up strong and stopped him running round him.
And that brings me to the next point, how important pace is in the Premier League.
Yeah. Mitoma's got that over short distances particularly. That's a lovely first-time ball. There's Ferguson. Not bad for an 18-year-old, is he? Out on the right to Enciso. He was only a teenager himself. Saints, of course, have given the most minutes in the Premier League to players under 21 this season, and it's cost them relegation. Over 7,300 of them, but Brighton are a young side. Veltman out to Pascal Gross, crosses. Lavio got back to intercept. Ferguson was sniffing a hat-trick, and then Walker-Peters falls down, and Portini gives them a nice free kick to calm things down deep inside his own penalty area. But Pascal Gross causing the danger. He's had a great season. I mean, he's no 31 years old, never blessed with a lot of pace, Joe, Pascal Gross, but he seems to have got better, and as you keep thinking the next generation of players will come along and knock him out the Brighton team, he just seems to get better and better. Terrific professional. Played for Ralph, of course, at Ingolstadt before coming to Brighton, but at 31 years now they play him as a sitting midfielder, they play him as a fullback sometimes, as an attacking wide man. He's a great pro to have around the place for De Zerbi, who hasn't binned him as an older player. He's actually got the best out of him, I'd suggest.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was looking at something else while you were talking. I'm looking a little bit at Ruben Selles and Elunisi, because they keep having this conversation, and Elunisi isn't happy with one thing, which I kind of agree with him, is that Brighton is playing it too easily into their wingers. And Elunisi is trying to communicate that to Ruben Selles, but he doesn't seem to get anywhere.
Ball forward in towards Gross, who plays it back to Veltman. Beneath us on this Brighton right. Stoppage time at the end of the first half on BBC Radio Solent Sport. Brighton 2, Southampton 0, the last away league game of the season in the Premier League, going like many others, as Dunk dispossesses Southampton, and now they break again. They've got 5 blue and white shirts forward. Here's Mitoma in the box off the left, low one into us the side netting. Didn't get a touch, McCarthy. It was a great finish from Mitoma, who could have had a hat-trick in this first half but hasn't got a goal. He has got an assist. It's a goal kick.
Yeah, and another turnover when Alcaraz has lost the ball again. He's kind of committing. He's trying to go forward and create something, because he's kind of in on the half, and then he wins the ball and has to drive so far just to get anywhere onto Brighton's half.
See, you say to me that you like wingers, you want them to take the men on and have a go.
Yeah,
if they do and get tackled, everyone needs to react.
You kind of have to react to it, but the problem he has, because he hasn't got a striker in front of him, he becomes the midfield player and striker in one go, and he then wins the ball. Like Brighton, when they win the ball, they have Ferguson up there, who they can play it to, who is a threat, who occupies the 2 centre-halves. We have no one occupying the 2 centre-halves.
So even though Aribo's playing as a striker, you're saying they're playing too deep to be effective.
Yeah,
like
he's more like a midfield player than a striker, and I want to see him up there causing problems.
I feel sorry for Joe Aribo this season. He started well. I think Ralph had him ticking in August. He came with a great reputation after doing well at Rangers, playing brilliantly in the Europa League final, Joe. And then as the season's gone on, he's been used less and less by successive managers. I mean, it's been an absolute horror for him, to be honest, coming all the way from Rangers and the fun he had up there to what he's come into this season. And I think he's a willing player. I think he's a good lad, Joe Aribo.
Yeah, but he's one of those, again, a lot of the players we have in our team are not playing in the right position, Adam.
Yeah,
we haven't used him right, and I think
he's a handful. I think
he is a handful, and I think if you get him in the right position, he's kind of meant to play up there with Alcaraz, but then he falls down into midfield, and the Colville and Dunco are the centre halves for Brighton. They have an easy day.
Yeah, you can play him in midfield or play him off the front. he'd like to play off the front, and when he gets the ball to his feet and around the box, he's a problem. That is half-time at the Amex Stadium, everybody. Brighton cruising to an 18th win in 36 games in this Premier League season, thanks to a brace from Evan Ferguson, their teenage Irish striker. He scored first in the 29th minute from Alexis McAllister's pass when he drilled the ball under Alex McCarthy from 12 yards out with a fiercely struck shot. And then 11 minutes later, just as we wanting Saints to get to half-time just 1-0 down at worst, Ferguson got his second from an absolutely wonderful pass from with the outside of his right foot from Tyrone Mitoma, which put it on a plate for him. And Saints head off down the tunnel away from home again behind. They've shipped 3 goals in their last, at least 3 goals in their last 3 away games, and they've shipped 2 by half-time here at Brighton. Plenty more to come. Your thoughts, please, on the tweets, the texts and the WhatsApps for Jordan. Half-time at the Amex Stadium. Brighton 2, Southampton 0.
This is BBC Radio Solent Sport.
Adam, Joe, thank you very much. Sorry to put you through against St Stans, but half-time here at the Amex, and here's what happened over the first 45 minutes.
Like Caicedo gets it to McAllister, can turn and look up 25 yards out. Ferguson inside the box now, a low shot, and it goes under and through Alex McCarthy. And Evan Ferguson, the 18-year-old, has blasted Brighton into the lead. It's going to go down as a goalkeeping mistake from McCarthy, but he absolutely lashed it from inside the box like an arrow straight under McCarthy, who couldn't squeeze it out as he fell on it, and it went under him and through into the net. It's Brighton 1, Saints 0. Falls over, doesn't get a free kick. Matoma's down the left. That's a great ball. Evan Ferguson, 2-0. 8 yards out. Saints players surround referee Paul Tierney. They're not happy. They thought there was a foul earlier in the move. As Lavia fell over, I don't think Matoma did anything wrong looking at it, and then his cross with the outside of his right foot is an absolute joy. And all Ferguson's got to do is slot it past McCarthy from 10 yards out. 2-0.
Brighton are very, very good, but Saints have certainly helped them on their way this afternoon. At Solent Sport on Twitter to have your say. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Make Solent the first word, or you can text 81333. Again, start your messages with the word Solent, please. Don't forget text messages charged at your standard network rate. We can talk about the first half performance. We can talk about what you want to see in the second half. We can look much further ahead, maybe to the appointment of Russell Martin and what's to come next season in the Championship. Hello to Paul. Very simple, says Paul. Bring your strikers on, go 4-4-2, get at them and have a go and show some passion and have some pride. Paul, you sound awfully like Dave Merrington, who joined us on the season review on Tuesday night. If you haven't had a chance to listen to that yet, and the great man back in action on BBC Radio Solent, then you can listen again on BBC Sound. We've got links up on @Solent Sport on Twitter, and you can go to bbc.co.uk/Solent, scroll down and click on Sports Clips. A whole hour on Saints season, where it's gone wrong and what needs to happen now with Adam Blackmore and Dave Merrington. Make sure you give it an hour of your time. Coming up during the half-time break, we'll take a look at what's happening in the London Stadium. Huge game for Leeds United in their fight for survival away at West Ham. And we're going to look ahead to the start of the T20 cricket season as well for the Southern Vipers and the Hampshire Hawks this week. We'll bring you live commentary of every game again on BBC Radio Solent. I'll read out the best of your messages as well. You're listening to the home of live sport across the south.
BBC Radio Solent Sport. BBC Radio Solent.
The days are getting longer and the weather is getting warmer.
And this spring, make sure you take BBC Radio Solent with you.
You can listen live, pause, rewind, and catch up on the BBC Sounds app.
So, whether you're taking a stroll through the park or sorting out the garden, we'll be there for you.
BBC Radio Solent, the sound of the South. Jordan Clark.
BBC Radio Solent Sport.
Just gone 4 minutes to 3. BBC Radio Solent Sport live from the Amex Stadium, where Southampton are 2-0 down at Brighton in their final away game of this Premier League season. Liverpool to come on the last day of the season next Sunday. Another game, of course, we will bring you live on BBC Radio Solent Sport. Thank you to Rob, who's been in touch in Waterlooville. Says it's been another bleak season, but could we please let Joe Tessam know that we all knew he had the biggest shoes to fill in football analysis this season. He's done a terrific job. Rob, thank you very much for that. Joe's just nipped to get a cup of tea, but I will let him know when he comes back. And you're spot on, aren't you? He's getting better with every game that goes by. And thank you very much for getting in touch to say that this afternoon, and for listening to BBC Radio Solent Sport over the course of what I know has been a very difficult season, I'm sure, for you. Hello to Phil Palmer, says, I just don't understand it. Same old, same old. Why not give the youngsters a go? What is there to lose? Yeah, Phil, it's an interesting point, isn't it? Adam and Joe spoke about it before the game, and the fact that there was the fear that you'd come here and you'd get battered by Brighton with the youngsters in the team. But if you're going to come and get battered by Brighton anyway, why not give them a go and have a look at them? Maybe they could make a huge impact next season in the Championship. You remember when Bournemouth went down, the season they came back up, of course, Jordan Zamora, Jayden Anthony coming out of the academy and playing a big role in that promotion season. I think when no one at Bournemouth really expected them, even the coaches, because they had so many injuries, had to use them. I think now maybe a good time to have a look at them, even if it is a Premier League game against a really strong opponent. Some more of your messages to come in a moment. Let me just tell you what's happening at the London Stadium. So this one kicking off at 1:30. Leeds with a chance to move out of the relegation zone, put survival in their own hands on the final day of the season after Everton dropped points yesterday. They went 1-0 up in the first half through Rodrigo. They were then pegged back by Declan Rice. There is just over an hour gone in that game now, and it is still 1-1 between West Ham and Leeds. So that wouldn't be enough to lift Leeds out of the relegation zone, leave them a point behind Everton heading into the final round of games next weekend. Leicester, of course, still with hopes of survival, play tomorrow against Newcastle. Your game to come later on in the Premier League is Manchester City against Chelsea at 4. Of course, Nottingham Forest win against Arsenal last night, sealing the Premier League title for Manchester City, and Nottingham Forest survival as well. So there'll be a celebration, I'm sure, at the Etihad later. In the Women's Super League, Chelsea have beaten Arsenal 2-0. Everton are 2-1 up against Brighton. At half-time, it's Aston Villa 2, Liverpool 2. Got Leicester against West Ham to come at 3, and Manchester United against Manchester City in the Manchester Derby at 6:45. There's the FA Trophy final as well, which starts at 4:15 today. FC Halifax against Gateshead. The FA Vars final has already happened. I'll try and get you a full-time score from that one, you non-league fans, in a moment as well. And I'm going to come to some more of your messages. First, though, I just want to have a quick look ahead to the T20 season, which starts on BBC Radio Solent this week. We've got the Vipers in action first in the Charlotte Edwards Cup. They are the reigning champions, so they get their campaign underway on Tuesday. Their defence of that cup, they take on the South East Stars at Falkland Cricket Club in Newbury. It's an 11 o'clock start, live on BBC Radio Solent via the BBC Sport website and app. Vipers all-rounder Emily Windsor has been looking ahead to the start of the competition with Kevin James.
We're really excited. I think, obviously, being champions last year, we're very keen to get the trophy back to the Ageas Bowl, but yeah, the group are feeling really good and really up for it. I think we've got a really nice balance in our side, and it's going to be very competitive to get into that first 11.
We've already, I mean the team as well, but I mean the competition. If you just take the Rachel Hayhoe Flint, you guys are already finding the competition tough. Do you expect it the same for this 20 over competition as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, teams are getting better and better, and I think we've seen that in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy, that the table's not spread, and I think that it's going to be a really tough competition, especially as the games come thick and fast in this Charlotte Edwards Cup. It's sort of over in 3 weeks, so yeah, it's going to be tough, and I think we need to get on a run, get some wins on the board early doors, but hopefully, as I said, with our side, we're more than capable of doing that.
What do you make of it being sort of done and dusted in 3 weeks?
Look, I think it's going to be pretty hectic. I think with the travelling that comes with that as well, because this is the first year we play everyone. So we're off to, I think we've got a weekend where we play in Saturday at Edgbaston and Sunday at Headingley. Both are double headers, which is absolutely amazing, and we're really looking forward to those. But there comes a lot of travelling with it, and I guess it's similar to the T20 Blast. The games come really quickly, and it's about, you see the teams that do well, they get on a run and they peak at the right time. You saw Hampshire last year towards the end of the competition, getting on a run and then coming through as champions. So yeah, let's hope it's a good one.
Is there more double headers this year, and what do you make of them?
Yeah, there's quite a few double headers actually, and we're really excited for them. I think here at the Ageas Bowl, when we play here, we've got a really good relationship with Hampshire men now. We've trained at the ground throughout the winter. We have good relationship with the players, so it'll be lovely for the Vipers to get a win on the board, then sit and watch the lads do the same. But similarly, going to other grounds, I think it brings in a crowd. Hopefully we get bigger numbers than what we would see last year, and I think that can only benefit the women's game. The more people we get in seeing what we can do, then the better.
So the doubleheaders take care of themselves, big crowds, you're in with the men as well, but you guys actually start the competition at Falkland Cricket Club near Newbury next week against the South East Stars. That's a kind of a new venue. It's not a new venue, but maybe for you guys it is? Yeah,
it is. Me personally, I've never been there, but look, we like going to play at the outgrounds. We're a region. We're not just, although we mainly train now at the Ageas Bowl, we cover obviously Sussex, Berkshire, which is where Falkland is, and I think we have a duty to go and play in those areas and hopefully get a new crowd in. I think the start time and it being midweek, we may struggle a little bit, but hopefully we will get some different fans in that don't usually come down all the way down to Hove or the Ageas Bowl.
Yeah, good luck to the Vipers. Emily Windsor with Kevin James there ahead of the start of their T20 campaign and defence of the Charlotte Edwards Cup, live on the BBC Sport website and app from 11 o'clock on Tuesday against the South East Stars. And then on Wednesday night, defending T20 Blast champions Hampshire get their white ball campaign underway at Somerset. Again, we'll have live commentary of every game on BBC Radio Solent. New signing Benny Howe is the latest addition to the Hawks squad. He's rejoined from Gloucestershire, started his career at Hampshire in 2010 before leaving 2 years later. He's been speaking to Andy Moon about his return to the Ageas Bowl.
Well, Benny, it's been a long time, but you got a Hampshire shirt on. How good is it to be back?
Oh, it will be better when I start playing, for sure. No, it's great to be back. I mean, a few things have changed, but the essence of the ground's still here, and I can't wait to get going.
You mentioned a bit of a wait. How tough is it for the white ball players? Because everyone's starting their season in April and you've got that fairly lengthy wait to get going.
Yeah, it's sort of the first time I've done it. Normally I've been away playing up until now. So, yeah, we'll see how we go first game. But been staying fit, strong, and just want to be ready.
What made you want to come back?
Couple reasons. I wanted a challenge. I felt like a new challenge, definitely. Hampshire, obviously, a big club. They won the T20 Blast last year, but I want to win trophies, and Hampshire are probably one of the best teams suited to do that. So, yeah, and obviously I used to play here years ago, and so it's nice to be back and hopefully finish my career here.
You mentioned this place hasn't changed too much. How have you changed as a person and a player since you were here?
Probably making better decisions than I did when I was a young kid, for sure. Just more experience, more knowledge on the game. I've had a lot of experience playing at Gloucestershire, so I come back with that, and hopefully I can bring that in and help the boys along as well.
Yeah, and how much to play in front of this crowd and show them what you're made of?
Can't wait. No, I can't wait to play. I mean, I'm used to playing yellow with Gloucestershire, but this is a slightly different yellow and blue, so looking forward to it, and can't wait to get going.
Benny Howe there with Andy Moon. We'll have your live commentary on Wednesday night of their game away at Somerset. 7 o'clock start. We're on the air with all the build-up from 6 o'clock. Players starting to come back out here at the Amex. Some more of your messages. Stephen James, not pulling any punches. Same old garbage, he says on Twitter, from this awful squad. The fans who have gone, and there's a fair number away to our right, Stephen, deserve so much better. Keith asking why Aribo is on the pitch instead of Doyle. Jazz says absolutely no surprise with the scoreline. This team is an absolute embarrassment, deserved to be relegated. No fight or passion. I can keep going and going. Hello to Jim, who's asking if we can, he says, can we just give Liverpool the 3 points and skip the game? I can't bear any more pain. We've been completely outgunned and outplayed. Jim, thank you very much for your message. Some positivity perhaps from Emil here, who says good news is that his friend from Swansea, his mate in Swansea, says Russell Martin will be great for Southampton and will bring 2 really good players in Perrault and Grimes to Saints with him. Emil, thank you very much for that one and some insight from your mate. No name on this one. Someone listening in from Bournemouth Beach. He says this performance today is exactly why we're down. Let's hope for better next season. Saints players back out. Thank you again to Josh, who's listening in on BBC Sounds from the Amex today. Says just utter shambles in that first half. Let's hope for better in the next 45 then. BBC Sounds, FM, DAB and Freeview. Your commentary team, Joe Tessam, alongside Adam Blackmore.
Thank you, Jordan. Welcome back, everybody. I sold Jordan a dummy earlier, bless him. I told him the game wasn't online today, but it is. No good at promoting my own output, am I? Okay, Facundo Buonanotte. He's on for Brighton as a half-time substitute. He's on for Enciso, who hasn't recovered from that bullet he took from the sniper just after earlier news. He tripped him up.
Yeah, he's still rolling in the dressing room, I think.
He's still in pain. Right, so 19-year-old Enciso goes off. And the 18-year-old Argentinian Buonanotte comes on, scored against Forest last month. He's got 4 Premier League starts, signed in for not that much from Rosario, another great teenage talent, attacking midfielder, forward. We'll see what he's got. Brighton 2-0 up against Southampton. Fans at home understandably depressed from the first half. I will tell you all that I'm not blind to what's going on. I'm just trying to make it slightly entertaining for you and give you something to smile about. Otherwise I could just moan for the next 45 minutes as some colleagues, former players downstairs in the press room said to me they are so easy to play against just now at half-time. Too soft. Somebody said to me, a former player said, why don't they just put a tackle in and actually do some damage to someone? You know, actually get the foot in and get stuck in.
Yeah, but you want to see some passion, Adam, and some liberty. Yeah, sometimes at least something, a tackle, something physical. That we are kind of just running around there, Adam. It's like we just get it over and done with. We're done.
But it is sad. When takes the ball.
Yeah, but it is a bit sad. You want to see someone have a little bit of passion, having some little bit of pride in it, and maybe put in a tackle or push someone over or do something. We're not seeing anything.
Be aggressive.
And we've been totally dominated first half.
Free kick to Brighton at the start of this second half. People still pouring back into their seats. Sun has disappeared at the Amex. Disappeared on Southampton's season months ago. They trailed 2-0 Saints, and Pascal Gross is over this. He's about 30 yards out on this left-hand side. And Gross will leave it for Estepinian to hang it to the back post. Nodded down by Colwill. Saints haven't got it away, and eventually the referee says it was a foul. And it's a free kick for Southampton. 2 minutes gone in the second half. If my effects mic is a little loud, I apologise to you. I'm just turning it down a little bit. There's not actually that much noise going on the ground. But we will try and keep that windy extra noise away from you at home. 2.5 minutes gone in the second half. 2-0. Saints no changes at half time. Again, there you go. Estepinian just went in tough on Walcott. Walcott wanted a foul, not given, and that's what you meant, Joe. Get stuck in. Estepinian just said, "I'm having that ball off."
But that's what that's what we want to see some Southampton players reveal. I mean. Estepinian just, you're not going to have it, I'm going to have it, and that's the difference when you have confidence and you are being a good team as well.
Oh, that's a great ball from Colwill, clever from the youngster up to Ferguson, and he held it up with his back to goal and brought Gross into the game. Gross has Buonanotte outside him. Here's the youngster up against Kyle Walker-Peters. Back inside him is Joel Veltman. Cross right-footed, headed away by Bree, but picked up by Caicedo to his Ecuadorian compatriot. Estepinian gets it back now, Moises Caicedo. And dunk across to Veltman again. Those two with some experience alongside the youngsters like Pascal Gross. Here's Buonanotte. That's great skill. He's gone past three and he went to curl it into the top corner. Balloons off someone, tackle, and Walcott clears. All the Saints players are deep inside their own half, and the referee in the end has stopped play for an injury to Romeo Lavia. It's been a bright start from Brighton at the second half. Even though they've got the 2-0 lead, they've come out looking for the third more than Saints have looking to get one back. That's for sure. Strong start from the home side.
I mean, back to a familiar setting back way into our own half. covering the middle area, and then Brighton plays it on the outside and around us, and that's the pattern of play today.
West Ham 2, Leeds United 1, if you didn't know. Leeds were a goal up through Rodrigo, but Rice and now Bowen have scored for West Ham. There's 18 minutes to go when Bowen's goal went in. So Everton, having got that last gas point at Wolves yesterday, would be very happy if West Ham hold on to that lead against Leeds. And then Everton, of course, as we still get treatment for Lavia here, Everton, Joe, next week will be at home to Bournemouth, who, of course, lost 1-0 to Man United yesterday. But Bournemouth are playing for very little, apart from a bit of pride. And Everton would have their fate in their own hands if that West Ham 2 Leeds 1 scoreline stays. Although, if Leicester were to win at Newcastle tomorrow night, that would make it different, but that's the one nobody can see happening.
Yeah.
So I thought Leeds might upset West Ham today. I thought Big Sam would have a couple of tricks up his sleeve to get Leeds going, but West Ham have turned that round.
Well, he tried to sow some seeds before the game, didn't he, saying that they got a final to concentrate about, so they don't need to play well today.
But you think if Leicester don't win it, then Everton, if that stays the same, tomorrow night goes as expected. Newcastle enjoying their last home game of the season. You cannot see Leicester winning at Newcastle tomorrow night. The way they play at home, the way they'll be having their last home game, having just needing a point to secure their Champions League football.
Yep.
I can only see Leicester getting blown away tomorrow night by Newcastle, and Everton, by beating Bournemouth, would know they'll be safe without worrying about other results. And we'll all be then annoyed that Everton have escaped again, Joe, when they've been dreadful this season.
But they got it all in their hands now, Everton, and that's the situation you want to be in.
Yeah, but I was thinking
and we can start analysing that with Sean Dice going there, because a lot of us asked, could we not get Sean Dice to Southampton and things like that?
Absolutely.
And we can see that Everton made the right choice.
Now, ball forward from McAllister, intercepted by James Bree, drifts over halfway. Saints playing from left to right in the second half, everybody. 52nd minute, 2-0 down. Estepinian brings it out brilliantly and finds Mitoma, and Bree has to get back goal side of him with help from Ward-Prowse on this near wing. Still, Estepinian has it, tackled by James Bree. Then Joe Rebo's out on this right-hand side. Off him, Brighton throw midway inside the Saints half. And then taken quickly by Estepinian, but McAllister was still doing his laces up and looked up to see the ball back in play. He's limping a bit. Pascal Gross sweeps it out to the right wing. Veltman drifts infield. Then again the cross play switch out to this left-hand side, and suddenly Mitoma's one-on-one with Walcott. Shakes him off, comes inside Bree. 25 yards out, into feet. Oh, and a little back heel was attempted by Buenanotte. He's got a corner for his trouble, and it's a corner to Brighton, who have a 2-0 lead. And the belief looks to be draining out of these Saints players more than it was in the first half, because they haven't really got over halfway yet in the second half, Joe.
Yeah, no, they didn't even look bothered that it was a corner, like you would kind of claim it's your ball, but no one kind of bothered. They just, okay, it's a corner, let's walk back in, and that's how it looks at the moment. We look like we're just here to go home, Adam, and maybe that's when Ruben says just make a few changes now to get some of these players, get some youngsters on, just to...
Here comes the out-swinging corner from Brighton. It's allowed to bounce in the box. Comes back out on this near left-hand side. Estepinian goes on the outside of Bree. Then checks. Back on his left again. Then somehow digs it out to the back post. And nobody had come in for Brighton. And all they would have had to do is nod that home into an empty net. And I think you're right. I think you look at Don Ballard, Kamari Doyle. You look at Tino Livramento. Why not give half an hour to three young players there who might all be Saints' future next season. Now, I said to you, I don't want the youngsters necessarily in from the start if it means you're getting caned 6-7-0. Maybe you leave it another 10 minutes and it's still 2-0, then you do it. But
we're getting to the time, and it's right, and I agree with you. Starting with them is not right for me, but getting them on around this time here now, that would be perfect. The game is gone anyway. They're 2-0 up. They're never going to get back in the way we are playing.
Touched the ball in the second half, hardly, Saints.
We haven't hardly been in their half as well, Adam. No. We sat back with 11 players on our almost 10 yards into our own half.
And the trouble is, we can criticise the players and everything, but this is a gradual eroding of confidence and faith and everything through the manager changes, through the not knowing what they're doing in matches, from complicated or overly simple instructions to seeing bad decisions made off the pitch. people leave in positions. Alcaraz trying to get through, and there's a slip here. Estepinian, and Alcaraz is suddenly right-hand edge of the box, drills it into the penalty area, comes off ahead, and Steele will catch it. And that's the end of that possible danger. At 2-0, Saints need to live with that hope that they can still get a goal back and get into it. If it goes to 3-0, then we're worrying about getting the tin hats on. 63% possession for Brighton, 12 shots, 4 on target. Saints haven't had a shot on target yet, just 2 all game.
And again, we win the ball back off the slip, Estepinian, but when Alcaraz has the ball and when it goes to cross it, because we haven't got a natural striker there, there's no threat in there, and that's kind of been our season, hasn't it? We've been lacking that threat in the middle of the in front of goal.
Lavia decided not to tackle Caicedo, who's 2 years older than him, and Caicedo's only 21. Out it goes from Dunk, who does spray the ball out brilliantly in possession as for a centre-back, Joe. It's one of those things we don't talk about with Lewis Dunk, but he hits some great passes across the pitch, and he knows where the ball's supposed to be going. That's great little interplay between McAllister and Caicedo, but then given away by the World Cup winner. And then Alcaraz can try and get on the break now. Where's he got an option to go? And he drives over halfway. Caicedo struggling to catch him up. Aribo has it out on this right-hand side now. Walcott central, but Natoma rushes back, and Brighton push Saints back all the way to McCarthy, because they're not letting their foot off the Saints' neck at the moment, that's for sure.
Well, we won the ball back in a good position, but we have to run so far.
They have to sell Alcaraz. He only joined in January, but he's too good, Joe, isn't he? As McAllister gets it. Oh, feeds Ferguson. Bednarek got a crucial touch, as did Lianco, to get it out of the box again. But Caicedo's collected it. Brighton almost at will now, passing the ball around and playing around Saints. But Alcaraz has got so much potential running from midfield.
Yeah, he has, but
I just hope he gets a season in the Championship with Saints before he has to go, because he only joined in January, but he's a very talented young man, I think. Surely he can be an important player next season, Joe, having just arrived in January. Now, Lavia caught in possession, and McAllister gets it away from Bree. Ball in the D. Pascal Gross twists and turns onto his right foot, blocked by Lavia. Still it falls to Brighton. Gross again, low shot straight at McCarthy. No danger, but it's just too easy for Brighton to get the shots away, to keep possession. We've had 11 minutes in the second half, and Saints are under the cosh here and 2-0 down.
And disappointing by Lavia, losing the ball there on the edge of the box. That's not like him. He's not looking happy today, Adam. That's not the Lavia we've seen this season. He's looking at his shoes, head down.
Oh, that's a lovely touch from Aribo. That's what he's good at. Walcott driving towards the Brighton penalty area. Suddenly Saints are breaking. Walcott pulls it back across the 6-yard area. Good defending from Veltman, who tucked in, because there was a man behind him who would have loved to have got in and scored off the back of that. And in the end, Saints get a corner from it, and that's their best play of the game, possibly. Elyounoussi just couldn't get on the end of it, because Veltman did some great defending, tucking in from right back and clearing it away for a corner.
Yeah, and again, good drive by Theo Walcott, but he has to drive so far, and he's got the pace to do it. And again, we haven't got the striker in front of goal, Adam, and it's a very good cross from him from the right-hand side.
Here comes the corner. Saints were 2-0 down last season. Can they get one back? Flick to the back post and in! And Southampton do have a goal, and it might be Lianco celebrating. It might have been an own goal, which is why the celebrations are muted. But Saints, who were 2-0 down last season and got back to 2-2, this season have suddenly got back to 2-1, completely out of the blue in the 58th minute. Brighton 2, Southampton 1. Have we actually got a game on? And that may well be Elyounoussi with the touch, and it could be his first goal in 14 months. Or did it hit Lianco? We'll get a decision at some point, but I think it might have been Evan Ferguson. We will see.
I think it's an own goal, Adam, by Ferguson.
Elyounoussi tried to get it.
Yeah, I think it is. He doesn't celebrate like he scored.
Everyone celebrated with Lianco.
It is Elyounoussi who got the last touch on it.
I think it was. And do you know what? That's his first goal since March the 13th, 2022.
Good corner in on the first post. It beats the first man, which you always have to do when you take corners. And Elyounoussi is back there flicking it on into the far corner.
I'm scared to write Elyounoussi in case someone changes their mind on just a goal scorer. But it has gone down as Elianussi's goal. And now here comes Walcott. He crosses from the right, comes off Levi Colwill. Corner Saints. Game on. Out of absolutely nothing, Southampton are back in this game. And they've got a corner. And as I said, they were 2-0 down last season. Never lost here in the Premier League. Ward-Prowse got a brace. One of them was a free kick. This time he's been involved here again, this time with an assist from the corner. And now he's across to this near right-hand side, away to my right to take another corner. Approaching the hour mark, is this game going to change? Ward-Prowse, outswinger, flick to the back post, and no one could get a touch in a green shirt. And Brighton prod it away as it came off ahead. And there is somehow hope from those Saints fans away to our right, and Saints playing towards those supporters. At least they've had a goal in this second half. Alcaraz and Elianussi win it back. Now here's Walcott 20 yards out, gets it out to Ward-Prowse. Can he get another good crossing? Leaves it for Walcott. The two England internationals combine. Back to James Bree, and then back to Jan Bednarek. Everyone bar McCarthy suddenly in the Brighton half. Ward-Prowse has stayed up, and that didn't go well. Bednarek's disappointed, but really for me, Ward-Prowse should have put that back in as soon as it got out to him on the right-hand side. 2-1, goal kick Brighton, but suddenly, game on.
Deja vu from last week. Yeah, last season was 2-0 at that point as well. This could be exciting. Maybe I predicted that the game was gone too early, Adam. Well, definitely has.
Well, we both were watching what we were watching. The Saints weren't touching the ball. It didn't look like they were going to get back into the game.
We weren't even in the Brighton's half, so you were thinking this is an easy road for Brighton, but now it's changed. Everything has changed now.
What Saints have done is lull them into a false sense of security. But they let them have the ball for 10 minutes, so they think they're dead, and then they've woken up. And it was always the plan, Joe.
It seems to be the plan. I'm not sure if there is a plan here at the moment. But
right, here's McAllister between the lines, tries to throw it through for Ferguson. That could be Ferguson's last actions of the game, actually. He's looking over to the sidelines. You can see Welbeck. And De Zerbi's here, who you can hear shouting on my mic, going crazy. As Brighton get it back from Saints' long clearance. Now here's McAllister again. He's allowed to turn in space. He's got between the lines once more. He's got Matoma to his left, into the box, pulls it back across the penalty area. Ferguson wants to get the shot away. He's on a hat-trick. Shot is blocked though. It's always going to be ambitious. Elianussi gets the ball. 14, he says play on. Home fans moaning. They wanted a free kick for a foul. And Lavia suddenly plays it well, then it's given away by Alcaraz. Lavia rescues the situation, feeds Ward-Prowse. He's looking at Walcott to his right. It's a great ball. Walcott's in behind Estepinian, and Walcott's tapped it past the goalkeeper, and the flag stays down, and Southampton have another goal. And Theo Walcott scores. Brilliant counter-attack, if it counts, if he's onside. And Saints have come from absolutely nowhere, dead and buried, to score twice in 5 minutes to level things at the Amex, and all of a sudden it's deja vu to last season. Brighton 2, Saints 2.
Oh, what a good turnover for it. I've got to say, Theo Walcott has had a good game, and we picked the ball up on our own half there, almost on our 18-yard box, and Lavia and Alcaraz has a good interaction about playing with the ball. It's going to be close when it's offside. I think VAR is going to have a look at it. But good run by Theo Walcott, and he runs forward into Ward-Prowse, who plays a beautiful ball to Theo Walcott, who's using his pace and chips the keeper elegantly, and that's the Theo Walcott I used to remember as well. And what a good goal that is. I'm not sure it's going to be offside, Adam. No. It's very close though.
It is close. I just think that when he first touched it, let's have a look. They're checking. VAR are checking everyone.
It's very close. It's going to be very close.
But still, this is a complete revelation, the last 5 minutes. West Ham 3-1 up in stoppage time. And it's offside. It's offside.
The smallest margin ever, by the way.
By a nose hair. It's offside. And at the same time, Welbeck will come on. And that is so unlucky for Saints. Just about sums up the season, really. Any fleeting glimpse of hope wiped away by someone. Ward-Prowse can't believe it. He nearly had 2 assists in 4 minutes. But West Ham have buried Leeds at the London Stadium. The goal hero is off for Brighton. Teenager Evan Ferguson coming off for the far more experienced 32-year-old Danny Welbeck. And 2 goals for the youngster. What a future he's got, that's for sure. And Danny Welbeck might not have that much future, but he's had a terrific career, plagued by injuries, hugely talented, whether he was at Man United or Arsenal, and signed by Brighton 3 years ago, given a new lease of life really from Watford. And when he's been fit, he's scored goals for Brighton. He's already got 6 this season. And Saints preparing some substitutions of their own here, down below me. She was sat just behind the tunnel here. And they're giving it away again, Brighton. Amazing what confidence does, and suddenly Saints are running around with a spring in their step, and the passes are more assured and confident and into feet. And look at that, Aribo back to goal, edge of the box, late played in by Ward-Prowse, back it goes to Eleniusi, crosses to the back stick, and if Estepinian hadn't headed that, Ward-Prowse would have tapped it home. Walker-Peters, Saints can sense here they're back in this game. Eleniusi, he's just scored his first goal for 14 months. He's probably just grown 2 inches in height. And they've got to throw on the far side, Saints. Now I wonder if these substitutions will get delayed, because Southampton have come back into it, Joe. Certainly Stuart Armstrong's readying to come on. Ballard and Doyle getting instructions. Would they really bring 2 kids on now at 2-1? Crucial moment of the game, 25 minutes to go.
No, I don't think that.
Maybe
that's the time. But what has happened after the first goal there? I mean, and it's important to bring that up. Is that suddenly Joe Aribo has gone up and played a little bit higher on the pitch, and I don't think anyone told him that. He just went up a little bit higher, and hopefully that is a decision that's made on the pitch, and he's kind of gone up to where Dunk is and put more pressure on there, and that has moved our team a little bit higher on the pitch.
Brighton were high, and then Lavia pinged for a foul on McAllister. He's trying to have a good battle there, Romeo Lavia, and McAllister's made it hard for him because he's found little pockets of space all afternoon, showed his class. But Lavia's been scrapping, and that's the attitude, and all we say is that all the fans want is the players to care as much as them, Joe, and have a crack.
Yeah, and they have now in the last couple of minutes.
Since the goal. And there's James Bree, becomes the latest one to go in the book. Easiest decision of the day for Paul Tierney. Matoma tried to hurdle him, and Bree was basically, thou shalt not pass. You've tapped it past Walcott, but you're not getting past me as well, mate. He was too square to him. He was never going to catch him if he started running, so he had to take him out. And
the pace, again, that shows how important pace is in football, and Mitoma has got loads of it. I've got to say, I feel a little bit sorry for Theo Walcott, because
great finish,
great run, very small margin. We're talking millimeters of offside there, not even maybe not even that, but I think he's had a good game on this side. He's worked hard, and he's been a threat when he's going forward, when he has gone forward, but he has had to do a lot of work backwards.
Absolutely. Here comes the free kick for Brighton. They'd love to get a third to calm things down. Pascal Gross drills it into the penalty. Back post. Brilliant save by Alex McCarthy. Oh, that was class. The big man got down to his right and somehow got a very strong arm on the ball when it was on the ground, because it was drilled in and the header was a bullet. And Pascal Gross drilled it. It's headed very firmly down right by McCarthy's right-hand side, and he somehow pulled off a great save. Great save. Here comes the outswinging corner from the left for Estepinian towards the back post. Body's going down. Saints players falling like the first fence at the Grand National. Suddenly it's out on the right-hand side, and Gross shoots, and that one has gone in. And that's gone out of nowhere. And Pascal Gross, it's not his first goal against Saints, but he's made this one hard now for Southampton to keep their unbeaten record up against Brighton here in the Premier League, because he snuck that inside McCarthy's near post, having just seen him make a world-class save to his right. He's done him with his eyes, and he's drilled it from just inside the penalty area to restore Brighton's 2-goal lead. Brighton 3, Southampton 1.
Alcaraz is complaining because he feels like he was held on the corner and someone was falling over. There was a lot of things going on there. I can't see what happened to him there. He's complaining that there's some holding in there.
Three of them went over. No, it's given as well. No VAR. And McCarthy had just made a brilliant save, and you've got to feel for him.
I think you got to feel for him because it's near post as well, and that should be the keep area. But Gross has way too much time on the inside the box, and Aribo should be tighter. He should be, as soon as Gross gets the ball, he needs to go out to him, but he lets him go one way, go the other, and then go back and shoot.
Right, Aribo's off. We've got the changes coming here. Sulemana's coming on, Stuart Armstrong's coming on, and Don Ballard is on. Now it's 3-1. They can make those changes, yeah? And Sulemana comes on for Elianusi. Stuart Armstrong on for Alcaraz, yeah? You're helping me here, mate.
Yep, that's exactly Joe Rebo.
Don
Ballard in for Joe Rebo, and Stuart Armstrong in for Elianusi, I would say, and
Sulemana for Alcaraz, yeah.
Sulemana for Alcaraz.
So fresh legs. Don Ballard gets his Premier League debut. Ward-Prowse makes a run for Lavia, but he's caught on the ball, wanted too many touches. It's a good battle in there, isn't it, he's having? I mean, he's losing it, but he's having a good battle.
Yeah, he's having a good battle, and had periods here where when they scored, he had stepped it up a little bit again, and you can see the class of Lavia, but he's had a period when he's been looking down and the confidence has been gone.
Now, Saints in the edge of the box here. Sulemana twisting and turning. Oh, and he's got the shot wrong, but they've got a free kick already for a foul on Carl Walker-Peters away on the left-hand side. BBC Radio Solent Sport, just under 20 minutes of normal time left. Brighton 3, Southampton 1. It hasn't been a dull game either. We've had some real drama in the second half. After what looked like we were going to be bored to death by Brighton just keeping the ball with their 2-0 lead. And then suddenly, Saints scored, have had an equaliser disallowed, and Brighton have got a third, and the whole complexion of the game has changed. Although they still have their 2-0 lead, it feels like a more competitive match now, and there's certainly all the incidents in the last 10 minutes, Joe, have up the atmosphere in the ground.
Yeah, and it came with a goal on the corner, Elianusi's goal after a good corner from Ward-Prowse.
Now,
and let's see if he can have a good free kick.
He should have had two assists already, Ward-Prowse, if it wasn't for VAR's intervention. He's had one. Now can he do something with this free kick? It's 2 or 3 yards outside the penalty area near the left corner. Can he whip it into the back post, cause some trouble? It deflects, but it's a corner. He scored here with a free kick last season. He was thinking more of a cross there, but that's the one where you aim for the back post, and if it goes in and no one gets a touch, you're absolutely delighted, like he did at Crystal Palace. But here's the corner for Saints on the far side. Those Saints fans behind that goal would love a second goal to celebrate. Here comes the corner, whipped in, headed away this time by Brighton, and then the referee says there's been a head injury, and I think it was 2 Brighton players. Veltman's the man down holding his head, but a bit of me thinks it was Caicedo or Estepinian that actually clattered him. Might have been Danny Welbeck actually, as Dennis Undav prepares to come on. I can't see what went wrong there. I've seen Welbeck head the ball. Veltman will be fine. Here comes. And Veltman's now off for Dennis Undav. So that could mean that Pascal Gross goes over to right back. That's been something they've done before. But Caicedo started at right back against Newcastle on Thursday, so he might go in there. Gross then sits, perhaps with McAllister, and then Undav plays further up. I think that'll probably work for me. And Veltman back from injury. He's had a good run out this afternoon. So let's see what they do to rejig. I'm expecting Gross to go back, Caicedo to go to right back. And now we've got another player down injured. So they just made that change. They might have to make another stoppage on the game, everyone. It's just gone 3:30. You're listening to BBC Radio Solent, live in the Premier League, the final away game of the season for Southampton. And it's the 4th game in a row they've conceded 3 on their travels. Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, Arsenal, and now Brighton. And we've got this stoppage again. Danny Welbeck might have got a clatter on the head. Tino Livramento is stripping off by the look of it after 13 months out with an ACL injury, then a hamstring injury, and all the problems you get when you're recovering from a bad injury. He's going to get a run out in competitive football on the same ground as he got injured and did the injury here in April last year. So psychologically, big moment for the young man.
Yeah, and it's good to have him back. He was really good last year. He had a really good season.
25 starts in the Premier League. He's 20 years old now. He was 19 then. They were always better with him than they were without him. He had Walker-Peters on the left, Livramento down the right, and they were terrific at stages, weren't they, last season?
Yeah.
And the young man, who was such a big career ahead of him, if he can stay fit, he's going to get a chance now to get back into first team action. Big moment for him, and we wish him the best of luck, that's for sure. And Saints, if they have him next season, Joe, which they should, you would hope, unless him and his representatives have decided he's not playing in the Championship, but you would like to think a good year after his injury would do him good in the Championship at still 20 years old. Long ball forward by Levi Colwill, and Mitoma has stretched Saints, and he's collected it as well. Now Saints are on the back foot. Mitoma drifts in field, leaves it for Estepinian. He drills it, comes off Bednarek, bounces away for a throw-in, I think, by the corner flank to Brighton. So is it Livramento for Bree or for Walker-Peters? It's probably like for like, isn't it? Here comes Tino Livramento, and he's on for James Bree. So what a moment for the young 20-year-old. And we all keep our fingers crossed that Tino Livramento can enjoy getting back onto the pitch, and his knee holds up for the next 15-20 minutes. And the Saints fans give him a hugely warm round of applause to welcome him back into action. Terrible injury here last year, and back at the same ground where it all went wrong. Mentally, that's got to be tough to do, but he's out there. And Brighton have a throw to my left on this near side, their left, as they attack the goal away to my left. 14 minutes left on the clock, it says. 3-1 to Brighton. BBC Radio Solent. Ballard on the pitch, Livramento on the pitch. De Zerbi moaning again as these players pass the ball around. You wouldn't think they were doing anything wrong, would you? But he's obviously seeing something or wants something, Joe. And he's... There we go, first action for Livramento, makes a tackle, gets it back, and then he's tackled by Mitoma, who fouls him, gets a free kick midway inside his own half. I almost find myself holding my breath then as Mitoma clattered into him, but thankfully he got back.
I don't think they would put him on the pitch if he wasn't ready. I
know, but it's just a normal thoughts, isn't it? As a non-footballer.
But good start. He's up against a very quick player, though.
He's certainly got some work to do, hasn't he? Mitoma plays it back to Estepinian on this near side. Brighton and midway inside Saints half. Now McAllister central. Passes it towards Undav, but it's intercepted, and Lavia does well to get away from the German. But then he goes back to McCarthy, who had a strange minute where he made a fantastic save from a bullet header low to his right, and then got done by Pascal Gross with his eyes as he did him on his near post when he's thinking he's going to go across him.
Yeah, and then near post is a keeper corner in my eyes, but I think Joe Revel could have helped him up, put more pressure on Gross when he went for his shot.
Too far off him, wasn't he?
Too close. He was kind of 5 yards inside the 18-yard line on the right-hand side.
And Aribo's 2-3 yards off him rather than being right in his face, and making it impossible for him to get the shot away. Livramento battling again with Mitoma, who turns down this left wing, brings Livramento back with him, who's tussling with him, shouldered him. Corner, Brighton came off Livramento last. I like that about Livramento. Give him the shoulder, got strong with him. But Mitoma is a talent.
Yeah, but Livramento's got some pace by the way. He kept up with Mitoma very easily here. So,
well, he's fresh, and Mitoma's 76 minutes in. That helps.
Yeah, but he's still got pace at him.
Yeah, 78 minutes in, I should say. We are in the 79th minute. And it's an out-swinging corner for Brighton on this left-hand side. That third goal, you feel like, has killed the game again. It's out-swung. Again, the bodies are falling over in the penalty area. Every time there's a Brighton corner, I mean, the one that led up to Pascal Gross's goal, there were literally 3 Saints players on the floor. It was like, I said, it was like horses falling over each other on the first fence of the Grand National. But in the end, Brighton scored after all the confusion. That's a dangerous ball pass from Livramento, and Ward-Prowse had to really work to keep it under pressure from McAllister. And then Colville too strong for Don Ballard, and suddenly Dennis Undav has a chance. Tried a clever reverse pass from the edge of the D into the path of Welbeck or Mitoma, and then Saints get it again, and Walcott and Ward-Prowse battle. And there's Alexis McAllister, 3-1 lead, the other side of his game, crashing into Ward-Prowse with a crunching challenge, and it's out for a throw into Brighton. He's got the lot, McAllister, hasn't he? Put his foot in, can spray a pass, he can score a goal, and he can take up great areas in space. I think he's
a fantastic player. He's turned into be a fantastic player.
I think Liverpool will pay a lot of money for him though, Joe. But
yeah, I would buy him. I'm surprised that Brighton has managed to keep him this long, but he's being loyal, I think, because he came and it wasn't involved much. And we're only talking 18 months ago, 15 months ago.
No, that's good play down that left-hand side from Stuart Armstrong, and then he rolls it out of play. Can't keep it in. Frustrating season for the Scot. Armstrong off the bench today, scored 2 goals this season only in the Premier League, and the first one was a goal back in October, which was a lovely goal in the draw against Arsenal, and then I think he got one at Newcastle the other week to give Saints the lead at half-time, if you remember, getting onto Sulemana's pass, cross from the right.
Yeah, good counter-attack.
Yeah, that's right. And Saints scored well with a good goal today as well. But Gross, he's done them after VAR did, Saints, with a very tight call for offside against Walcott. 2-2. Anything could have happened in this game. It would have been really interesting to see what Saints would have been like with that confidence of the 2-2. As it is, Brighton, to credit them, are still pressing the heck out of Southampton, and Livramento's done brilliantly to keep the ball, and then he finds Lavia, but he's back here as to who? Nobody apart from Moises Caicedo. Caicedo, edge of the penalty area, inside to Buonanotte. Buonanotte fires it high, horribly over the bar, wide. Goal kick, Saints. Just over 8 minutes of normal time left. The game is up probably. It's 3-1 to Brighton. Kamari Doyle, that means he's going to become the latest player to get a run out. He'll be the 5th substitute for Saints.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of good. It's kind of conceded to going down, Adam, but it is nice to see that we have youngsters and that they are given it. I think this is the time to give them the opportunity when the club is already, situation is sorted or we are relegated. Get them on the pitch, let us see if there is a future.
Yeah, and it's good they've come on late for me. I know some of you at home will think play them from the start, but I can't tell you how much different it is playing for a B team or an under-18 team to playing in the Premier League. And if you're Don Ballard, he hasn't actually touched the ball yet, and you've got Lewis Dunk, 32 years of age and 300 odd appearances in the Premier League on top of you, it is a different game of football, isn't it, Joe? The jump is enormous, isn't it?
Yeah.
They need to see.
From the under-21s up to this level, it's unbelievable. I don't think people realise that. You can do well for the under-21s, but you're nowhere near being a Premier League player.
Yeah. Here comes Mitoma again with his Stepinian, working in tandem down this left-hand side, dragging Walcott and Livramento back with them. And there you go with that pace again, Joe. Livramento just got it off Mitoma, no problem. Ballard's come deep to get the ball, but he's given it away to Mitoma. Squares it into the middle of the park, 35 yards from goal. Great turn from Buonanotte. Buonanotte out to Moises Caicedo, gives it back to the young Argentinian. And Gross then, whose goal has sealed the game, you think, calms things down, plays it through Dunk, back to Jason Steele. He must think it's brilliant. Jason Steele, been here 3 years and suddenly he's in the team again in his bright orange kit, and they're winning up every other game and flying towards Europe. FA Cup semi-final, which was cruel on Brighton the way they lost to Man United, but then they beat United here. The ball out of play from Saints on the far side for a Brighton throw. About 10 yards inside the Saints half. And it's Lavia who's coming off. And Doyle is coming on. Now, I don't know what that means for the team, but I've just seen that hands and fingers go up, because he's not a defensive midfielder. He's a 10, Kamari Doyle. I can't work out if Lavia's had an indifferent afternoon, because it's been really tough in there against McAllister or so, but he hasn't looked that happy this afternoon.
No, he hasn't.
I think he was disappointed with his haircut.
I would be happy if I could cut my hair like that. I would be really happy, Adam.
84th minute, Brighton 3-1 up. Here's Danny Welbeck. Sprays it out to the right-hand side. This is a danger. Buonanotte comes in field, held up by Saints, who've got bodies back behind the ball, and again Pascal Gross not in a hurry to go forward, and De Zerbi's gone mad again. As soon as Gross started looking backwards, De Zerbi went crazy, and he's now whistling to get his players' attention. He's entertaining, isn't he, Joe, down in front of us?
Yeah, and on 3-1 as well, you'd think he could sit on and be calm, but no, it's not.
I think the players know where they stand with him, don't they? That's for sure. He's demanding, very demanding, I'm told. Not easy necessarily to play for, but when you get results as a player, you don't care, you're winning games, aren't you? If his demands work, then you've got a team that's winning games, you're happy. Now, Brighton again into the penalty area. Saints can't stop them progressing, but Welbeck held up a bit. Cross from Caicedo, good header away by Livramento. Volley from McAllister, goes just over the bar. It was almost perfect from the World Cup winner. He caught that beautifully, and it's just drifted over the crossbar as he smashed it past Alex McCarthy. May have even got I thought it might have got a deflection for a moment off Kamari Doyle, but no.
No, it didn't.
Of course, a beauty.
Good try there. Good build-up play by Brighton as well. They work us really hard down that right-hand side, and they get into the middle and get to crossing position, and then they're putting the ball in the box. And what you see with Brighton is they have runners into the box. They've got a striker. Welbeck is in there. Mitoma makes a run, and that's the difference. You become a threat, and that's why the second ball happens, Adam. They make that second ball happen.
3-1 to Brighton. They have it on halfway. Joe Tessam alongside me. We've got one more game to go, this time next week. In fact, we won't have kicked off this time next week, but we will be on air. 4:30 kickoff as it's picked up by Dennis Undav. He fancies it, and he strikes it wide from 20 yards. And McCarthy could watch it calmly go past as the German unleashed a right-footed shot, having taken up a little bit of space. But it was a little bit lucky because it came to him off Stuart Armstrong, but he knew he took full advantage. Skipped inside. He scored recently. He's got his confidence up. But Saints...
Yeah, I lost the away game, Adam, and it's been a little bit more positive second half. And,
yeah.
Especially after we scored before that, it looked like the game was dead and buried, but we kind of got into it, and unfortunately Theo Walcott's goal was disallowed, and that kind of would have been changed the game changer in the game. It has been a pleasure for me this year, I have to say, Adam. Thank you so much for having me the whole year.
We've got one game to go. 4:30
yeah, we have one more game.
And we're on air at 2 o'clock, everybody. Bournemouth playing as well. Lots of time to build up and reflect on the season as Brighton again comes steaming forward, this time with Welbeck. Gets that shot all wrong from the tight angle. Goal kick Southampton. 88th minute now. So Saints have used all 5 subs: Sulemana, Stuart Armstrong, Ballard, Livramento and Doyle. And it's quite telling that the only one who's really made an impression is Livramento, because that's how much Saints have had to deal with the problems down this left-hand side. Evan Ferguson gets man of the match. Jan-Paul van Hek waits to come on. Who the heck is Jan-Paul van Hek? He's a young Dutchman, Joe. That's what people are saying to me. Adam, who the heck is Jan-Paul van Hek? Well, he started against Newcastle, and he's 22-year-old Dutchman. Will get on the pitch along with the Scotsman Billy Gilmore, you'll remember from his Chelsea days and bad loan spell at Norwich, and on loan from Chelsea as well. No, he's a Brighton player. They paid only about $7.5 million. They paid Chelsea last summer for him. And Mitoma's coming off, having had not a bad game, Joe. He could have had 2 goals to go with his talent, but he did provide one of the moments of the match with that assist for Brighton's second goal. So all the subs used now by both managers. Colwell's off. What a good player he's done. Good player he's been, Colwell. What a great loan signing he is. So Van Hek's on. Lewis Dunk switches sides, come to the left. And The other substitution was also made as the ball played in towards Dennis Undav. McAllister, central, 25 yards out, sprays it out to the right-hand side. Run made ahead, crossed in from the byline, hits the Saints player. Stuart Armstrong goes out for a Brighton corner. They're finishing the game much stronger. That third goal, the sucker punch that took the wind out of Saints, really, let's be honest.
Yeah, and it is all coming down to Alexis McAllister. He is dominating that midfield. He sets the pace, his touch, his runs. He won a header there with Doyle. He just jumped almost half the body size over him, and he's much shorter, but he is really setting the pace. And his touches, his passing is unbelievable.
Corner from the right for Brighton on the far side. Outswinger towards the penalty spot. Van Heck went up. Saints cleared it away, and again the referee blows the whistle. Another head injury from an aerial collision, and it's a Saints player. I think it might be Jan Bednarek. Do you remember him wanting to? Was it Arsenal where he got a head injury and he wanted to come back on and they wouldn't let him?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
it was a bit weird. He felt very awkwardly on that game and kind of stayed on the ground, and then he wanted to come back on. There's a bit of a clash of heads there.
Big clash with Van Heck. So where are we now? I mean, we look at the game, it's 3-1. It's almost quite a good scoreline for Saints. Did the fourth official just put his board up then? Because if he did, I missed it. And you missed it, and that's your job when I miss it, to not miss it. You know that, don't you? How many minutes did it say?
2.
It didn't say 2. I'll tell you what, that's one thing it didn't say.
I think
it's still standing there. He might not have actually put it up.
He might have not have put it up yet.
But I think
I'm just guessing, Adam.
He has put it up. And I can't see how many minutes. I was hoping Jordan would tell me, but he's not looking either. Anyway, I'm guilty, but only because I was looking at the game. Throw into Brighton midway inside the Saints half on this left-hand side. Yeah, McAllister's been supreme. But yeah, I was going to say to you that whilst 3-1 is a respectable scoreline, when you look at the possession and the stats and everything, 23 shots Brighton have had to Saints 5. 7 on target to Saints 1. 7 minutes of stoppage time. Nice to finally tell us.
That's close to 2.
It's closer to 2. It looks like a 2 without the extra bit at the bottom. Yeah, that's why it's close to 2. Okay, stoppage time. Be nice if Saints could get 1. Ruben Sellers just asked the fourth official. He's sure it was 7. He might have wanted 2. Lovely flick from McAllister to this left wing on the halfway. That's a wonderful touch. Out of the air, a little outside of the heel flick out to the wing. And if they score from this, it'll be brilliant. Low shot, parried away by McCarthy. Kept in on this near side by Estepinian. Danny Welbeck's there with his bandaged hand. Back to Estepinian. He crosses, McCarthy catches. He's made a couple of really good saves in the second half, Alex McCarthy. And that was a good save as well. This time it's De Zerbi's coach who's jumping up and down. Annoyed. 3-1 up, and they're looking like they're 4-0 down, the Brighton coaching staff. They are demanding, aren't they? And that's why they're good, Joe, I think. But he certainly pushed this Brighton team on to a big level, and although they've got another home game left against Man City on Thursday, they are going to have their lap of honour after the game this afternoon, Brighton.
They are.
Which means, everybody, that I will be getting my Saints post-match interviews ASAP, I'm hoping, after the game, because they're going to try and get them out of their way while Brighton are doing their lap of honour to help the TV companies out, because they'll have to wait then for the Brighton's players and everybody to come out. So, free kick. Is that another yellow card? Or a yellow card? It is. Couldn't see who Paul Tierney was giving it to. He's just wafting them around now in the 93rd minute. He's giving it... might actually be to Buonanotte. Now, Saints, long crossfield ball into the edge of the penalty area. Walcott was waiting. Estepinian heads it out. It's gone out for a throw to Saints by the corner flag on this right-hand side. Brighton have Manchester City next on Thursday. Then they finish at Villa. They'll be 3 points above Villa, who can't catch them on the final day, with far superior goal difference when this one's been confirmed as a 3-1 win. And Murray Doyle gets a touch back to Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, it's good experience for him coming on the pitch in midfield and get a feel of what the difference is, and he can kind of look at it. And when you come as a youngster, you've got to look at some of the good players that Brighton has. And we mentioned McAllister, how good he is. And that's what Doyle needs to look at. Look at him and learn from also Ward Prowse, but see what Brighton does. That's the level he needs to get to.
Yeah. Saints playing really with a 4-1-4-1, although Doyle is sat in with Ward Prowse at times. Ballard is having to, I mean, that's a tough gig at this level for Don Ballard, ploughing a lone furrow in front of Lewis Duncan. Van Heck, as Brighton have it on the right, long crossfield ball, might come all the way out to Welbeck on this near side, brought it down brilliantly off his knee, low ball crashed in and then deflected off Bednarek, who stuck a boot out to block it, and then it's chipped back into the penalty area by Brighton, and then Welbeck fires it high over. We are getting deep in stories. I'm afraid since 3-1 we've been back to how it was at 2-0, which is Brighton almost at will coming back at Saints and back at Saints, and that definitely took the sting out of Saints.
Yeah, and it is like Brighton has turned the tempo up a little bit in the end there as well. So
but they're relentless, aren't they?
They are.
They haven't rested because they're 3-1 up and they got another game on Thursday.
I know.
It's been very impressive, hasn't it? Ballard tries to win the ball, can't do it, to Brighton throw. Lewis Dunk in the back of him. Paul Tierney says he might be 3-1 up. There might be only just over 2 minutes left to stoppage time, but you're going to take the throw in from the right place. And drags Brighton back 10 yards. And Estepinian, well, Undav shouldn't have had that space, and nor should Pascal Gross from that throw-in. Back it goes to Undav, and then Bednarek clears, but Saints switched off there from the throw-in. That was a bit like the one with Brentford scored against Spurs yesterday, where Damsgaard was in 10 yards of space from a throw-in the middle of the park in the Spurs half. That's what happened to Saints then. If you watched Match Today last night, you know what I'm talking about. Dunk spreads it out to Estepinian, and he flicks it on down this left wing to Welbeck. Brighton playing around Southampton now, almost teasing them in and out of possession. 90 seconds of stoppage time to go. 81333 is the text number. Put Solent as the first word. Tweet us at Solent Sport. WhatsApp us, putting Solent as the first word. 08000 321 333. That's free to do that. Put Solent as the first word when you WhatsApp Jordan and Joe. 08000 321 333. Which of these players do you want to see playing for Saints in the Championship next season? Who do you think will actually be sold? I'd like your thoughts on that, fans. Which of the players that were signed last summer or this January, should they all stay? Alcaraz, Lavia, any hope of keeping him? What about Adozi? What about Sulemana and Onuachu? When Russell Martin comes in, not if, when he comes in, is Onuachu going to be surplus to requirements after just a few months at the club? We'll see. Your thoughts are welcome. 81333 on the text. Solent is the first word. Tweet us at Solent Sport. WhatsApp 08000 321 333, putting Solent as the first word. Clock ticking against Southampton's away season in the Premier League. 20 seconds to go, and that's it, in fact. Paul Tierney says that's it. Brighton have beaten Southampton 3-1, home and away this season. They've done a league double over Saints. They have their most points ever in a top-flight season, Brighton. They're up to 61 points. If they're going to have their highest ever finish in the Premier League and in the top-flight football of sixth, and they are going to be playing European football next season, are Brighton and Hove Albion. Whilst one South Coast club thrives and goes from strength to strength, the other one limps off the pitch, knowing that their form this season, having lost 25 games, makes them the worst Southampton Premier League team ever by some margin. 69 goals against with a game to go, 25 defeats in the Premier League. There is no hope for this hapless lot, I'm afraid. With one game to go, Saints have lost again, their 13th away defeat. Leicester do the league double over them. It's finished here at the Amex Stadium. Brighton 3, Southampton 1.
This is BBC Radio Solent Sport.